COVID.
Yes. 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 Show number 50. How cool is that? Welcome to ALTBAYS Show, brought to you by ALTBAYS.nz. We've been doing this for, I think, 17 weeks, which is pretty awesome. So for you who is watching this show for the first time, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Leo, your host, and I have the whole ALTBAYS Show family here tonight to talk about this amazing journey that we've been on. There's much more to come. We're very happy with the results. Thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's all good. It's a free country. And yeah, the best way to support this platform is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, so we can keep creating more content. Enough talking. Hi, Christine.
Hello.
Hi, Fabian.
Sup?
Hi, Paea.
Kia ora.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
Hi, Brett.
Hello.
Hi, Hector.
Hi.
Hey, Taylor.
Hi.
We're all here. How are you guys?
Good.
COVID?
Yeah.
Hey, everyone's fucking quiet now, eh?
Everyone is
Before
quiet
the
now.
camera came on, everyone was talking shit. Now
We
we're
were
all
going
quiet.
Man.
We were going wild. We were going hard.
We're pretty much out of topics.
Everyone got shy.
I know, right? I got topics.
Oh, yeah.
Paea. How are you?
I'm good.
Haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, I've been like super busy, but I'm glad to be back. It actually feels really cool.
Tell me about that, the competition that you went on a couple of weeks ago. The jiu-jitsu one.
Oh yeah, so I had a comp like a few weeks ago, and that was really good. I had 3 matches, and I won my first 2, and then I got into the final, and I lost that one. But I was actually okay with it. I was pretty I was happy I even got to the final, to be honest.
Is it when you came second? I saw it on your
yeah,
story.
Yeah, I came second, which was like, I was like, this feels so good. It was really good because my first comp I had only versed like one. I had to verse one lady, but this time I had more competition, which was good. And then a few weeks later, I got my blue belt. So I'm a blue belt now.
Nice.
I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
how many till, well, I don't know, what's the end belt, black? Is that it?
Yeah, so the black belt's like the highest belt. Well, you can get stripes in your black belt, but the black belt is like the highest belt you can get. But from white belt to black belt, it takes about like 10 years. So
Holy shit.
still got ages to go.
There you go.
That's cool.
But it's a journey, and I'm loving it.
You're on it.
Yeah.
What's the martial art field you do?
And that's jiu-jitsu.
Mm.
Yeah, but there's like heaps of things that have belt systems. So
So you're good at grappling?
I'd like to think so. I have to be because that's like a part of it.
We could have demo that. Not tonight.
We'll do it right now. No,
We'll do it right now.
Yeah.
Let's open some space. So you came second in the competition.
Yeah.
I came second in the karaoke competition.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
heard
buddy.
about that. That was awesome.
Fabian, when was the last time you came second?
To use the words of the great,
Selfish.
in the words of the great Sandra Cowdy, I'm gonna have to think about that one. And I'm sure it'll come to me if I think about it long enough.
Yes.
Hey, I'm happy to admit when I've come
Chloe.
second.
Have a think. Well, a gentleman comes
Your
second.
mind went gutter.
Sorry. But Chris was like, whoa.
No,
whoa.
Chloe's mind went gutter.
So next time we should take the whole ALTBAYS show crew for the karaoke competition, eh?
That'd be cool.
Might as well.
Take out the first 5 spots.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Chloe got the 4th one, I think, or the 5th. It was not bad. Got a bar tab, babe.
Got a prize.
Yeah.
Nice.
Participation award.
There you go. Which songs would we do here? What would it be, Christine?
I don't know. My playlist is weird. Like I've said so many times, but
You got to win
I've
the
been
competition.
digging like Etta James at the moment.
Hey,
Etta James?
Yeah, she's mean.
I've been digging a couple of her songs lately.
Can you demo? Just a-
Oh no. Yeah, no, not today.
yeah, no. Paea, what would be the
Honestly, I don't
karaoke
even
song?
know. Something good.
You got
something
your own
vibey.
songs now, right?
Yeah, I've been like me and Chance made a song like a couple like a few days ago, and we just performed it on Saturday on ALTBAYS Show, which was cool.
Chance and I made a
Chance,
song.
thank you for that.
Oh, there you go. The teacher is here.
Improving.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was very cool, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
So Tiffany played at the Fitianga Hotel. with-
Yeah, he didn't mean, and it was a really good turnout too.
It was pretty good. Yeah, with Four Corners.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, big hip hop band from the 90s, I think.
Yeah, I think they're from Hamilton, but they actually from around here, I think.
It was fun.
Tiffany is pretty badass.
He's good.
It's pretty good.
Solid, eh?
We had a few freestyle sessions. Oh, he was really educating and leading it. He's just good. He's good.
Can you rap, Fabian?
Ein bisschen.
Huh?
Just a little bit.
Just a little
Hey,
bit?
my money don't jiggle. How are your rap, eh?
Sorry?
That TikTok,
Yeah, the TikTok.
the guy.
You know, that would be your rap, eh?
What's
the
the
polite
TikTok?
rap.
I don't know TikTok. Don't put me on TikTok.
Got
What?
it. What's the thing, Christine? Is it a hit?
No, you've done it. You've done the dance.
Oh, the dance.
yeah,
Yes,
it's the
yes,
polite
yes.
rap or whatever they call it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
The polite rap.
I don't know. I've seen it be called the polite rap so many times.
Because Gangsta's Paradise is pretty much the polite rap, yeah? Non-explicit, so it gets all the players on Spotify, makes all the playlists. Kids can listen to it.
My kids
Gangsta's
listen to it anyway.
Paradise.
Yeah, Coolio.
That's right.
Did a good job.
Yes.
I don't even
Yes,
know
yes.
that. Do I know that?
Yeah, you'll know it. Dangerous Minds.
through the valley of the
shadow,
it's if
yeah, take a look
at my life.
Copyright, stop. Good. He's trained.
No, that's the
he's
Bible
he's
too.
great. He's great. He
Isn't
knows.
it? Isn't it a verse in the Bible? So can't copyright that, can we?
I haven't.
Technically, I think that's based on the Stevie Wonder song, right?
Is it?
Yeah, leaving in a something. Oh, it's a Stevie Wonder song, almost identical music. It's Stevie Wonder's music rehashed into Gangsta's Paradise.
Have you read the Bible?
Like when I did Bible studies at high school and shit. Yeah.
Was
Do
it
you-
good?
No, I think I had too many questions. I think that's why we didn't follow through.
It's a complicated book.
Yeah.
Lots of writers.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, big as well. Quite long.
Have you?
long reading.
No.
Nah, I think the same. Like when I was doing the first communion or something, I had to go through some parts of it. But I was not very focused on it, eh?
No.
On that first communion thing. You did it as well, right, Fabi? Yeah, you had the religious background.
I can eat the bread.
You can eat the bread.
I wouldn't.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you do the communion to. That's right.
And the confirmation after that, is that the next thing? Your first Holy Communion, you get confirmed. Can't remember the order now.
Then you get
Pass.
baptized and then confirmed, I think.
Unless you're born again and get baptized
I'm
as
lost
like an
there.
adult.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about this.
My mum forced it on us a couple of years and then we just stopped, so I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of like a natural thing. It's very weird if you don't say that you have a religion in Brazil. So most of the families.
So you have a religion?
Well, I used to.
Used to.
Yeah, when I was younger. Yeah. So it was just a normal thing. Oh, you got baptized, and then you have to go and do the first communion, and then you just carry on. If you want it or not, then it's your choice. But it feels like all those things, they come to you first. You know, like
If you
kind
just
of-
name some obscure religion from the other side of the world, though, would they be like, oh, no, that's cool, we're all inclusive here? Could you have got away with that? Or was there a certain select few religions you had to sort of choose from in your community?
Well, there's the majority. There's the ones that the majority of the people would follow. Brazil is cool because it has a lot of African influence. So a lot of the African religions they're quite popular, and it's a completely different way of relating to going and praying. Like there's a lot of drumming, there's a lot of music, there's a lot of, so the tradition is very different from the classic Catholic, very polite in the church and go on your knees.
Sounds like fun, really. It's one of the draw cards for religions, the social aspect. But getting on drums and music and dancing, you can see how people enjoy it.
Yeah, those gospel songs, man, they just
Yeah,
hit
but
different,
they go
eh?
hard.
I love it.
Man.
Yeah, I got to the point of understanding and appreciating them. When I gave up religion, I was a bit like, I don't even want to know. Look what I'm doing, And now that I'm getting older, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of beauty in it. Because those people, when they make those songs, they are in that state of grace. So like most of the time, they make beautiful stuff. So
And
you gotta
they mean
appreciate
it. And they mean it.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate that for sure. Like it comes from their heart.
Best part about Christmas is the music and the food.
You love it, eh? Those Christmas songs.
Hell yeah.
Jeez.
sis?
I'd say
Sus.
that's debatable. I don't really.
Not a big fan of the
not your thing
Christmas?
to
It's not
Paea.
Mariah Carey all the time. She's
Oh,
a bit,
gorgeous.
gets a bit bloody hard, bro.
Yeah, when she's out in October, you're like,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm like, come on, bro, leave that for a couple months.
Yeah.
Fabian, are you enjoying doing this show, man?
No.
I know. That's why I asked you first.
Honestly, it's been an interesting one. I've been asked heaps of times like how I feel. Do you get nervous? Do you get nervous? And I'm sort of like, yeah. I suppose that there's that, as Stu said earlier today, one of my colleagues, great man Stu. He's like, I suppose you always get a bit of an adrenaline rush with an audience, but this is just volunteer. There's no pressure. I don't have to be here. You're not my boss. You know, you're just somebody wearing a different hat every show I'm with you. So really, there's no pressure and no over interest for me.
But do you think if there was, I don't know what you mean, like by pressure, because it would be your choice to be part of something that someone is inviting you, even if they're paying you. Do you think the pressure element would come in?
I think the pay would definitely bring a pressure to it. If you were being paid, like there's $50 come to a show, $100 come to a show, you're like, okay, now I'm employed. Now I've got a responsibility to do a good job here. Not to scare all the hosts, but if this ever gets payment, you better up your game because the show's shit.
Well, and that's actually what's happening now, because we are opening the spaces for sponsorship, and we already have people interested in being supporters and sponsors. So that's definitely the first thing that we want to do. Just make sure that we're paying everybody's happy to carry on, because you guys have been supported from the beginning. So it's just the natural order. And we want to invest more in the platform. Like, we don't see it. That's why we're still working full-time jobs and everything, so we can.
I love the show.
Good answer.
Love the company. Love the table. Love Taylor. He's pretty good. He's good company.
He is good, eh? It's a bit quiet.
Handsome. He's got a great beard. I think he trimmed it at one point a couple of weeks ago. That was a terrible mistake.
And the hair, eh?
Someone else trimmed their beard, and that was also a terrible mistake.
Paea has a busy life, but you do enjoy the ones that when you can make it.
Yeah, it's good. Like I enjoy getting to meet the people that come on, because like I find them really interesting. So it's good. I just feel like I just sitting and listening is really good for me. So yeah, I appreciate it. It's nice.
And you got some cool ones, eh? Tiffany was great.
Yeah, it was good.
What a
I
cool
really
show.
enjoyed it. I think that was probably my favorite one, just because like I can like connect with him, and like he's got good stories, and like it's always just a good vibe. So
Billy Hunter, we learned a lot
it was
on
good.
that
Yeah,
one. Wow.
it was good having Billy in, because like they do so much for the community. So it's good to have them like on and stuff, and like sharing all what they've done and stuff, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Christine got all the musicians. All
Yeah.
of them.
Dicks. All of them. Everyone
Not
talking
all of
about,
them, but-
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, there was a few that weren't musicians.
Well, we did that cool one with
Devil
Paul
Skin.
and
Yeah, that was
Devil
cool.
Skin
They were
and-
cool. Yeah, he had some pretty cool stories. I like that one.
Yeah, and the whiskey helped, eh? That show.
Yeah. Yeah, and he performed alright, eh?
Yeah, did his best. Paul was great, and,
Yeah.
and Chris was yeah, yeah. It was good. So we had the bass player from Devil Skin, and then we had some pizzas from Slice Baby, and then we had a whiskey, and they loved
I love the whiskey.
having some whiskey. But yeah, it changed the course of the conversation. The show was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was great.
Yeah.
It got pretty loose.
I think I saw some of the clips of it, and they look pretty cool.
He had
Look
some
at-
pretty cool stories too, eh? Like,
yeah.
who did he get drunk? Van Morrison, eh?
Van
He got
Morrison.
Van Morrison wasted.
Yep.
Who was that?
Irish
the musician.
songwriter.
Oh.
You, my brown-eyed girl.
Oh, okay. I know.
Everyone
that.
knows Brown
Yeah,
Eyed
I
Girl.
know that.
That guy.
But he has a whole career of like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, but you
Outside
know that
of
one
that song.
song.
Yeah, I know that one song.
That one song.
Yeah, that makes a
The
little
garage
difference.
playlist song.
Did you feel in any of these shows, this is whoever wants to go first, that like it was hard? That it was hard to deal with what the person was saying, or not much about the flow, we'll talk about that later, but like just the values of the person, and realizing that the person had different opinions than yours, and you were trying maybe your best to put your opinion at the table, because that's one of the things that Taylor and I really praise, especially when we invited you guys. Like, we know that you guys will give your opinion and disagree with people. But when you're live and when there's cameras and when the person is the guest, sometimes you're kind of like, ooh, should I go there? Should I let it pass? So do you want to go first,
The shows
Christine?
I did, no. Like, all of the shows I had, I don't know, I just was like, oh, yeah, that's your opinion, that's cool. There was one of our guests made, like, a joke, and I was like, whoa, that was extreme.
Yeah.
What was the topic?
It was a 9/11 joke, and I was
Whoa.
like, whoa.
Uh,
You know what I'm talking about, eh?
I just had to restrain
'Cause that was
myself
the-
from asking
yeah.
whether the joke bombed, but
But
it's a terrible
if I
opportunity to
remember
make a
well,
joke.
like the guy didn't target.
No,
the
it was
event.
just happened to be,
Yeah,
like, events with his life and stuff, but,
yeah,
yeah, but other than that, shows I've watched, yeah, have disagreed.
yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and
my opinion.
How did you cope as an audience member
fucking
disagreeing with what's on the show?
Boom.
I was like, don't agree with you.
Did you comment publicly on their Facebook page and
No,
on their
I
front
commented
door?
on
our live chat.
on the
Spray
live
painted
chat.
there? Okay.
Yeah.
On our live chats, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a sensible space to write stuff that are disagree. That's
Yep.
cool, as opposed to trying to bag them in the community or anything.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds healthy.
What about you, Robert?
I disagree with Christine in our first show ever.
I don't
And I-
remember what
and
was
I
that.
can
What was
put-
it regarding?
And I completely let it slide because I was like, I don't want to engage in any of the confrontational.
Oh, what was it? I can't remember.
It was...
Oh, I've been living rent free in your head.
Yeah,
What is
there
it?
you go.
What was
This is
it?
my moment. It was to do with, I think it was devices with children.
Oh, like letting them have it.
And when, and then it came down something to do with how competent kids are on them. And I was like, I'm going to let it slide because I've seen the opposite so frequently about the competency of kids that grow up on computers.
But that was the
Devices.
first show.
Very first
That
show.
was the
And I
first
was
thing.
like, hell no, I'm not talking about that. But then the shows like with Mark Troop, then to like Grace Cater recently,
yeah,
very different opinions on so much of what they thought and saw. Very difficult to... I could argue more easily with some or disagree more easily with some. Found it harder to disagree with others.
I unfortunately don't have too much time to listen to all the shows back, but I like to check the audio platforms just to see how we're doing, like with the quality of the audio. So I got Mark's one last week. It was so entertaining. It was so nice. I really enjoyed, because when we're here, there's, as you said, there's that pressure with keeping the show alive and making it interesting. But when you're listening and you detach from it and you can actually soak in the conversation, it was a great show. You guys found a very nice balance of disagreeing politely and having arguments to bring to the table. You were not just saying, nah.
I suppose that's the hardest thing, is that when someone disagrees or you're talking in the conversation, when you actively want to listen to the person and you're trying not to listen to the voice, you're going, well, that was a stupid thing that they just said. And you're trying to, no, just listen in case there's more I don't know that they know. You always treat it as if they don't know something I don't. Keep listening. And sometimes I go, that's just bollocks. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Tricky to balance.
But it still is, it's someone's reality, perception of life, beliefs, There's beauty in realizing you were wrong. So maybe that person is on that journey, like they might realize that, unless they're damaging someone with what they believe, then I think you can try to be a bit more like straight to the point and say, I don't think you're right. But you were the one who actually said a very strong and beautiful thing. It really showed that you were not agreeing. You said, I don't believe in you, for one of our guests. And that was,
Shit, did I?
yeah.
Oof.
But
What
but
was it
like,
regarding?
but that was legit, and could see that you were engaging, you were listening, you were paying attention to what the person was saying, you were reflecting on it, and then you just said what you believe, and I appreciated that. That was pretty good.
Oh shit! Is that the show when I got home? My wife saying, "You need to call them. You were rude and horrible." And
You were not rude,
It's
Oh,
probably
good.
that-
and you were
probably
not
that.
horrible.
It was
It's
probably that one.
Probably that
Wait,
one.
What was the show? Which one was it?
It was the one with Grace that she was talking about
that one.
NLP and some things about how trauma is stored in children and everything. And then Fabian had a different take on this thing with kids remembering and healing traumas. I don't even remember the specifics, but like he just said, I don't believe that is That is right.
Yeah.
That is correct. And that was cool because you guys bounced.
And then it kept going,
Off-
and that
yeah.
evolved and evolved.
It was cool. It was great. And we need those things. You know, it's something that Taylor and I talk about quite a lot. Is like those moments, they add a lot of value to the show when we actually don't agree with the person in front of us. I think Chloe and I had a bit of a challenge with the mayor, with Sandra Gaudi, because she's quite polemic with what she says. And I don't agree with probably 90% of the things that she says.
But she's earnest.
Still, wow, she came here. She was the coolest, you know, like she was super polite. She was asking questions. She was interested. And we could establish a conversation. She was very a classic politician, really paying attention to my words and targeting,
Yeah.
you know, like words and sometimes not focusing on what I was saying, but more on the big picture. But it's still like we had a great chat. And I was like, cool, okay, I can talk to these people, you know. And,
The result of your show is she stepped down.
next day.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, she
did.
stepped down. Yeah, she's like, can't take it. ALTBAYS,
I don't know.
they found her out.
Yeah, I got a couple of messages saying that. I don't think it was the case, but it was funny that people related to the show. Like, hey, after coming to ALTBAYS, she's not running for mayor anymore. Maybe she's our new producer and we're just saving it to tell people. You
That'd
know?
be cool.
Yes. What about you, Paea? Did you feel that any... I think you also had some pretty cruisy ones, eh?
Yeah, I always, like, the ones that I was on, I was always, like, laid back, so I had a good time on most of my ones. Like,
Yeah.
not on all of them, actually, so it's good.
And we are focusing a lot on the people in the area, obviously, you know, people from Whitianga, but it's going to change. You know, we're gonna talk to people that we actually don't know, and I think that will change. So that's why it's been great practice
Yeah.
for us. These ones, you know, these first ones that we know the person, we know that, but like soon people will come from other parts of the country, and I think we'll be a bit more polished on our power to agree or disagree with something.
Yeah.
Should we put a clip sometime soon and make some just to remember some things, because for the people watching or listening to this show at home, we have our main channel, probably the one that you're watching right now, but we also have the ALTBAYS clips where we break down the interviews so people can watch some of the highlights and then they can choose which interviews they want to watch in its full length. So Taylor and I, we picked some
Cheers, Mike. That's
we picked some clips, and then I'm gonna chill over there because Brett is looking so relaxed, almost having a nap. So I want to swap. I want to sit there, and I want to put him here.
It's quite
Thanks,
exciting.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
It's strange seeing you all in the same room again, because it's been months.
It has. I haven't seen you guys in ages.
That's right. I think most of you guys saw each other the second time on Saturday when we had to get together, right? Because it's always, for Taylor and I, it's funny because we see you guys all the time,
Yeah.
but we forget that
Like,
you guys
never
actually
come
don't
together.
see each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the only other person besides you and Taylor I see the most is probably Brett. I feel like you're
Yeah, I
here
see
often.
Brett.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a week.
Yes. Yes. We're putting these communities together, eh? Matarangi, Whitianga.
It was
Represent.
flooding today, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Out Wade Road?
There was a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So for the people who are not from the Coromandel, how was the day? What happened?
Like, the weather was bad. I woke up this morning and it was so dark. I woke up at 7 o'clock. And that's not that early, but like it was dark as like for 7 o'clock it was dark. And then the weather like chilled out, and then around about like 12 it just started like bang, bang, bang. It was pouring.
The kids left earlier, some
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, so why did they leave early? Because of the rain?
Why, Fabian?
Or because of the buses in the
Let us
rain?
in.
That's
Let us
true.
in.
It did happen.
While I was on duty, I went for a small break to the staff room to get a drink of water and happened to come across the senior leadership team walking in to write a notice on the whiteboard that everyone needs to go to the library, all the bus students, people that take buses in the community and wider community, get to the library at 1:55, so the buses leave at 2. Cool. So those students all went there, did their thing. Those that weren't buses stayed in class. I taught last block. Last block finished. Picked up my daughter. I went home. It was later on I read the email chain that was threaded through all the community. Buses that were turned around at Wade Road are back at school. We'll try again at 3 o'clock.
Oh yeah, they got back.
Trying again another half an hour. Trying again another hour. Eventually all the kids have finally left school, but That was a bit of a mission, just getting turned around. Heavy, heavy rain. It was also quite heavy in the morning. I was up at 4:13 to watch the cricket, the final of the IPL.
Wow, you do those things, eh?
Brett, comment.
Jesus Christ. Okay, hold that comment. Hold that comment. Let's watch one clip and
You look so young.
comment
Look at
on
that.
it.
Little beard Leo.
Thanks, man. Great. Whenever you're ready, Papa, show us, man. Show us the money.
They're not worthy of it. Don't spend any energy on them. Put your energy here.
What would
So-
what would a yoga master approach first when having some of these world leaders that are taking us into chaos and conflict and war? Like, how would you see?
Don't give them your energy. They're not worthy of it. Don't spend any energy on them. Put your energy here. Work on yourself, your own peace of mind. You don't have to approve. In fact, you don't approve. But to run around ranting about it, oh, it's got to stop and jumping around, and it's just taxing. It's just toxic. So
You just watched to an ALTBAYS Show
Brett.
clip. If you, that's you, man. You were on that show.
That's a really yellow shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, it's an ALTBAYS one.
Do you want that one?
What show was I on?
No.
That one was with Bill. And he was talking about.
Oh, we can't hear it just for the over there. It's only through the headphones.
You can have this. Oh, yep, you can have one.
About not spending
go.
energy with politicians.
Oh, I'll keep it.
It sounds convenient.
Sounds convenient. There you go, man.
Well, that's better. It's only in one ear.
Now we just judge them.
Are you wanting comment from me?
Well, why not?
Because I couldn't hear it.
What was that?
Actually, where's
Oh,
that
you
top?
couldn't hear it.
So what did he say, Christine?
Oh, just pretty. Well, I don't know what. It was out of context, obviously, because I don't know what it was about. But he's just saying, don't waste your energy on shit that doesn't really occur to you, or like.
Top of the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. Oh, is this who's running this show now?
You.
You're like,
You are now. You're in the main
You're
seat.
in the seat.
You're in the hot seat.
Oh. Do we
Well, yeah,
oh, you
I-
guys are talking. Just carry conversation on. I want to jump in when I'm ready.
Oh, I think you got chucked up here because it was your interview, but
Oh.
you couldn't hear it. So
Yeah, well, I couldn't hear it, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, the politician thing. I'll go back to Sandra Goldie because that was quite an interesting one that you guys were in.
Yeah.
The Sandra Goldie one.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, because I watched hers and
Yeah, I
I
watched
commented
hers.
as well. And like, I thought that she was actually quite good. I enjoyed her.
I liked her
rhetoric.
as well. Yeah, I watched her one. I liked it.
She was a good sport, that's for sure. But there was a lot discussed off camera, which was a bit of a pity. But
That
yeah.
always
Hello.
happens, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at the end, it's always like everything.
Or
all
the
comes
best content
out. Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Mm.
being someone like her who's like always been in the public eye, you know, she's somewhat well trained. So.
Oh, 100%.
She's pretty, but she's
yeah.
pretty good. But she's got
She's
a
a
lot of bite to
politician.
her.
The only person
Like,
who can go up against a politician is another politician. Or
Yeah.
maybe a lawyer.
I don't know. Me and Leo gave it a good go.
Yeah.
I ended up taking a beer and running
Try.
away, but she's
Yeah.
pretty scary.
No, she was very
Yeah.
clever in the way she answered questions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or avoided.
Even anything,
questions.
anything that was like a little bit of conflict. She
I think
handled it
I
well.
think for I listen to quite a lot of right wing type of stuff. I'm left leaning for sure.
Like
But
how
I-
much?
How much do I lean left?
Like how much?
No, not
Like
that,
all the
not
way?
that far. Not that far left. No, centre left. Centre left. But I listen to some like centre right kind of stuff just to like get a perspective from both sides, you know. And I think that apart from thinking that climate change was sort of not exactly a real thing or not man-made, like she had some pretty reasonable points in some places. If you don't look at the whole thing, like if you look at the parts that she was saying, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not go like the whole thing sort of seems a bit crazy from lefties. I'm guessing we're all probably left leaning here, I imagine. Nah, that's all right.
I mean,
honest,
you
I
know,
don't really know.
I would say I will.
I'd
am,
like to think
but-
Like
so.
Labour, yeah.
yeah.
But like, yeah, so it was quite interesting to hear someone else's point of view, you know, because all we hear is left stuff.
Yeah.
Generally, you know, and I like to play devil's advocate and sort of listen to something else from the other direction, you know. But what I don't know. Am I running this?
No,
Well, you are now. I'm just buzzing out trying to make myself taller.
the one
Just
thing
fill
I'm going to
around the
give
chair.
it to her is like the whole vaccine thing.
What did
Like-
she say? I actually haven't watched it. So
No,
you gotta
just like so her whole stance on it was that she didn't want the Pfizer vaccine. She wanted to wait for another one or whatever. But the fact that she was brave enough and everyone gave their professional opinion on her vaccination status, I think that's and she still shows up. You know what I mean? Like that's the main question she's going to get asked all the time is, why aren't you vaccinated? Why don't you do this? Why don't you? It's like
See,
it's
'cause the
between me and
vaccine-
my doctor. Like,
Yeah. So the vaccine thing was interesting for me because, like, I was watching that, and from her, I would have felt like that she should have had stronger leadership in that time. But like for her to not be vaccinated, that's her
Yeah.
absolutely her
But
own
that's
choice.
kind of cool though. Like,
yeah, it's like
No, I support her. If
Yeah.
she doesn't want to get vaccinated, that she doesn't have to, in my
yeah,
opinion.
it's, I think it's the fact that
absolutely up to
everyone
her.
thought that they could have an opinion on her medical status. I guess
Yeah.
if you want to
It was-
call it that, it
also,
was
like,
weird.
A few comments though that she had made, and
Yeah.
obviously with media catching any little thing like
Yeah.
that, you know, they take it and run with it, which was what they did. But there was a few things about, you know, when you're in a position like that, regardless of your personal stance, you know, you kind of have to set an example. You cater,
Yeah.
your words affect
So-
a lot of people.
And I totally agree with that. So like, I was annoyed with her. No, I wasn't annoyed, but I was like, I thought it was bullshit that she was like, I don't want to scan and all that sort of shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm like,
no,
that
no.
side, that's a bit different.
That's that. Like,
Yeah.
you should be scanning. You should be encouraging
Yeah,
people
because
to scan.
it's
Blah blah. If you don't
it's
want
like
to
wearing
get
a
vaccinated,
mask
that's your
and
own
yeah,
thing. You know,
But yeah, getting vaccinated is your own thing. It should
Yeah,
be it should be your
absolutely.
own thing. But yeah,
it should be your own thing.
scanning
you're right,
in
my opinion.
is just like I don't know. It just became a thing you had to do. So
But that was a whole part of that whole sort of initial thing the media took and ran with, is because she had or like also dropped comments about the fact that she
Doesn't
pretty
scan in.
loosely scans in and doesn't really feel for it and doesn't really have a plan, didn't really have a plan to start.
But did everyone scan in every single time? Like, did you guys all scan in every single time?
Absolutely
I 100%
not.
Did you?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
did-
100%.
I was going to say I've got so many photos of the barcode on my phone because you just like take a photo. Just
I
walked
scanned
in. Or my
maybe-
phone was up.
I did when during the lockdown. If
Yeah.
I went to the supermarket, I scanned.
Oh yeah. During the lockdown, I did. But what? Yeah, I've got so many pictures of the code because I'm just like, oh.
Why do you take why
Said
do you
open
take a
the app.
picture of it instead of opening
Because
the app? Isn't it the
old
same?
Karen behind me would be like, your phone wasn't even on.
Oh, the amount of times I've been like in the line getting let in, you know, one
Yeah,
person is
and
one.
they're behind
one
you, they
and
can
the-
see it
but
on
the
their
But
phone.
the amount of people that literally just hold their phone up, like I've seen people
Yeah,
just
see,
like
but
just
I'm
hold
not
their
gonna
hand
say
down and
anything.
just go wave,
Yeah.
like they just wave at the
My daddy had his wallet and he just put his wallet up.
I'm like,
And I was like, bro, what are you up to?
Yeah, see, that's all right because if I saw that, I'd be like, you know, you do you. But if someone behind me saw me do it, I'll be like, don't want to have to have an argument. At
Yeah, but they
supermarket.
have like the things where you can
Shame.
write
Yeah.
your name in. Like, why wouldn't you just do that?
I
don't know why you just
thought
don't
the
do it.
tracing was very important, so I did it as much
Yeah.
as I could. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
did it probably 3/4 of the time, but I
Yeah.
definitely did it all the time.
Yeah, I tried.
But only because it's like, oh, I'm just going to the bakery in and out. I'll just
Yeah.
I'll be in and
I'm
out.
barely here. I
I'll be
wasn't
in and out
Yeah, I'm
before the
barely
COVID
here.
can
Don't
get
count me.
You know?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, this doesn't count.
Yeah. Have we all had COVID here?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't?
No.
No,
Was
I
it
just
scanning's
genuinely think
protected you?
I genuinely think I'm like immune. Like there's a few times I've been a little bit fluey or whatever, and probably before I got around to testing, I probably wasn't like so
Cool, don't
symptomatic
say
or
that
whatever.
with the hard
But,
time
like-
you gave Sandra Gowdy, but carry on. Yeah.
Oh no, like
When I got around to
no,
testing,
I mean-
you told her that you guys test randomly.
Yeah, you test every
Test
single
all
day.
the time, every day.
yeah, and I said the same story that like I've been a
alright,
bit fluish,
it's alright,
but like,
it's alright.
and I
Yeah.
don't think, but yeah, having testing like quite often and just by choice, I still haven't had it. Like flatmates have had it, I've had guests that have had it, like just been around, my whole family's had it, like
Yeah.
just nada.
I think it's sometimes it's like, because if you haven't got like a snotty nose when you're testing, you're only just scraping at some dry cells up your nose, you know, and like so I did wonder that because when I tested positive, I felt sick for a few days beforehand, and then it wasn't until I could actually get some boogers on there that it was like, oh, okay, it came through and the test is positive.
It wasn't until I was. So my husband got COVID. It wasn't until I took my test. He goes, you know, you're supposed to blow your nose first, so it loosens it up. And I was like,
You like didn't read,
never.
didn't even
never-
bother
yeah.
reading the
Hey, probably
thing
already
that came
had it
with
before.
it.
Yeah, no, I was just like, nah, never, ever, ever blew my nose first.
And they said you can do it down the back of the throat or some shit as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just
Yeah.
get? No.
I did try that at one point because I was like, I need to get this tested, and it was just
How did
all I
that
did
go?
was almost threw up all over the table.
Deep throat swab.
It was pretty budget, but yeah.
My mother-in-law's got it at the moment, and she had to do it there because that was where she was sore.
Oh really?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go.
Nice.
Fabian's mother-in-law did it down the throat. With the test it is.
Thumbnail.
Great. So some places won't ask for masks anymore. What do you guys think? Are you gonna keep wearing your masks? If someone can repeat my question, please.
Leo's just saying that some places won't be asking for masks anymore. Will
I
we
like-
still wear them?
You don't have to wear it when you go into restaurants and stuff now, eh?
Mm.
Like I'll definitely always wear it in the supermarket. I think it's just so normal to wear it in the supermarket. But like otherwise, I'm not wearing it unless they tell me to wear it.
Do you wear an N95 mask or just one of the blue ones?
I just wear a blue one,
Mm.
like the medical ones. Everyone else wears them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm trying to. This is what I wear too.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because we've got some of those N95 masks too, especially when we went to hospital
What
after
are those
Angel's
ones?
broken arm.
They're
supposed to be little.
painters ones.
Oh,
yeah, they,
yeah.
Look, they look like them, but I don't know if they're not.
Yeah, they're more medical grade. Like apparently they're
Right,
supposed to
right.
try and filter out smaller particulates or something like that.
I use the fabric one still.
Yeah.
It's a
I
plain
just
black.
wear whatever's in my car. Bro.
Yeah, to be
just
fair,
wear
yeah.
some
I'm just like,
hand
Yeah.
something.
Oh, some of them are probably more scary than actual COVID. Eh? You're like,
Do you,
Yeah, I'm like, should I?
I had that
you use
conversation
just your
with
arm?
yeah.
anyone use their arm? I've seen someone
tried-
using their arm before and they were just like
I'm not
this.
that bad.
People
walking
just like
around.
hold up their hand and like not even over their mouth. They're just like,
They're just like
sorry,
this,
like
sorry.
talk, like lean in to say sorry to the person. They're like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
Well, I won't be wearing a mask, that's for sure, if they say you don't have to.
Sometimes
I'm
when
not
I'm
phased.
working though, I find it really stupid. But like if people can't hear me, I'll take my mask off, like so that they can hear me, and then I'll put it back
Do you
on.
take it down because you can't hear
yeah,
them too?
like I take it down. I'm like, what did you say?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, why did I take it off?
yeah,
for?
that's me. I'm like, I can't hear with this on.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably just killed their grandma.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rough.
But no.
Just
So
joking,
everyone's had COVID except you.
Except me.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel worried sometimes talking about subjects that like you're not sure if you should be talking about it, or you're scared that something you might say you might regret?
On the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, do we feel scared bringing up certain things on the show, Leo's saying? I'm glad you actually, thanks Leo.
Yeah.
I'm
There are some things, yeah.
I'm really struggling to run the, I
Yeah.
don't know why I have to be running it just because I'm sitting in this chair.
It's the chair.
Yeah, it's the chair.
No, well, for,
No, there are some things I'm worried about like that.
to Paea,
but
you're running it for
I
now.
think with COVID, now that it was, you know how New Zealand pretty much had that outbreak, every man and his dog had it. I feel like now it's alright to talk about. Before that, when it was just like Delta, everyone thought.
Well, I think as well in the way of like not what we're supposed to not talk about, like there's a whole lot of conspiracies that are not so much conspiracies anymore too, aren't there? You know? But
You're like,
Like what?
oh, like what? How far would I think I can say this.
how deep
It's,
are we
um,
going?
Yeah, like for example, when COVID first came out, they were just like, "Bro, it's like it's come from monkeys and blah 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 blah," and a Wuhan lab was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's not necessarily true, but people will openly talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, it could have come from a lab actually," because there was all these inconsistencies with the media and what the governments were saying. The governments at the time were saying about where it came from or where it might have come from. They
Yeah.
go, "Oh shit, you know what? There is a lab there, so maybe it did come from there." You know, which makes
Sense.
sense. Yeah. So I don't know where to look because I'm doing
Yeah,
all
no,
of you.
yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. So that's a like. There's things like that where it's like, oh, you know what? Those would be good to maybe talk about, depending on how far they go and whatever.
Yeah,
Or
I know.
whatever. I mean, when you
Until
got
it gets awkward and you're like, oh,
yeah, and when you got a photographer
switch.
on, it's COVID.
Yeah.
You know where the COVID virus came from. COVID-19 came from. It's probably not on the list of things you're going to talk about.
No.
You know, not on the agenda. Yeah, maybe you could show us some moves later on for the GoPro. I'll roll with you if you want.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you how to break someone's arm.
Yeah.
No, you know how to do
You know how to do it.
Oh, I don't really know how.
Yeah.
In theory, or Hector can do it. Hey, Hector. He's getting quite good.
Chloe.
He's getting quite
Yes.
What you can repeat, please? What about that first show? Your first show with a lady talking about such a delicate topic with consent and abuse and all that.
Leo just asked me personally how I feel about, or I suppose what my opinion was about my first show with a lady, I can't remember her name, but it was a pretty heavy topic, and it was, pardon? her name?
Tobia.
Tobia. And it was pretty full on conversation. A lot to do with sexual abuse and stuff like that. And personally, I found it quite difficult. It was very difficult. Not only was it like my first time here at the show, it was like a really heavy topic. Not only was it like quite a touching subject as well, there was a lot of sort of grounding ideas and stuff that related back to Whitianga, which I thought was like, it was nice, but it was just like a whole lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
So I found it quite difficult on multiple levels, just personally as well. It's a heavy topic to talk about, let alone being under lights and on camera and live, you know. So I found it pretty difficult.
It was a real trial by fire, for a first show.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
I was absolutely like, nah, it was not all good. But it happened.
My
Yeah.
first
It
show was
happened.
like with Paea.
Yeah, we were pretty kicked back. So
Yeah, I was genuinely thinking about that like about 40 minutes before
You
I
just
came
got
here.
trapped
I was
in.
like, oh yeah, so like everyone's done a show, everyone feels like I can't assume, but you look somewhat comfortable behind the mic and on screen, and I'm like, yeah, these guys fucking had it easy. It's like Leo's like, hey man, I think it will be great for the show.
Yeah.
Boom, here you go, fire pit.
No,
Yeah.
still before every show I'm nervous. I don't know why.
I get like it's
Were
like
you
kind of
nervous
gross
today?
to admit, but I get really
Oh,
sweaty.
yeah, bro.
Like, really
I don't know.
sweaty.
No, not really.
Like, real sweaty.
Yeah, no, every other show I'm like nervous when I get here. And then you go for like a nervous pee and then I'm good. Like, just
Yeah, all
kind
the
of
shows
forget.
I've done, I was like super nervous, but today I was like, it's just us, that's fine.
You see,
Yeah,
I
it's
wasn't
crazy.
nervous at all before I came and sat down. Then I sat down and I looked at you guys and you guys looked at me. And I was just like,
Oh,
you waiting for me? I was like, shit, I didn't prepare anything, like whatsoever. I just sort of stood up, walked over, and then I'm ready to go.
yeah.
I got like
So
real
cheer.
nervous in my first couple shows about like not having anything to say or like waiting for the conversation to fall onto me. This sort of, when Leo
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
at you like, and what do you
What are you
think of
gonna
it? I'm
say
like,
about that?
Well,
let
I
me
was
just zone back
listening,
in.
yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I'm just like I drank way too much water.
Oh, that's
and I was
my
like, had to
first
pop
show.
out, yeah.
You, Fabian, you dick. Literally, and ever since then I'm like, get the mic away and have a drink. But he's like, I just heard you swallow. I was like,
Oh. I picked up one of those little like weird ASMR things.
yeah,
So
that
I'm,
was
like,
the
eating
first
and chewing,
one.
I'm like,
Yeah, that was the first one. So now I'm like,
Yeah, I try to like eat over here.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm off the mics. Can you lay off?
he's off the mic so we can lay into him.
Yeah, just keep-
That's
just
what
keep
he
going,
said.
keep
Just
going.
just
so if anyone wants to comment about Fabian, it's time.
yeah.
I want. No, I'll wait. No, I'll wait
yeah,
until me and you.
wait till
we'll wait
Fabian's
till
back
you're
on.
back up here, and I'm
Well,
on
we'll
here
just
with
we'll
you.
just ask the audience to send in now. Comment any live chat. Your worst and most favourite moments, Fabian style.
Sorry.
Name's now. All right, I'm in. Sorry, what was that?
I was asking the audience to send in some messages. From they can rate.
What are you drinking?
You were in last.
What am I drinking? That's a fantastic question, Paea. I'm having a beautiful drink here, a beautiful beverage from the local Blue Fridge Brewery. And it's quite fantastic. It's actually
Emotion. No.
it's a seaweed sour. It's a sour beer. It's very salty.
I don't
Made
like
with
beer, so I probably
seaweed.
won't like it.
Local seaweed.
No, no.
Eclonian seaweed. I don't actually know where it's from. I should read
It's
it.
not local.
Thanks, you just ruined my bloody spiel.
Oh, it's
There you
just,
go.
I just like
I
the
mean,
bottle.
you were like
Yeah.
selling it, but
Yeah.
go for it, bro.
it's
There you go.
interesting. You into sour beers?
Yeah. The Kelp Party. It's again, it's salty, so it's got to be a cup of tea. Usually, I think I probably have it with some drier food, dry snacks, as opposed to sort of a moist meal. I wouldn't have with a curry or wouldn't have with a soup.
Are you into the Belgian sours?
Yeah, they're heavy. They're heavy. They're a meal and a experience in themselves.
I used to love them. They were bloody great. Yeah.
Best-
It's like a real like smack on the cheek, say some of them. Like it's like pow, like
It was
full of flavour.
It was one of the best things about going to Europe.
I'm trying
And
to
just-
think what's a Rodenbach Grand Cru? Have you tried that one? That's sort of like a more. It's not as sour, but it's
and a
it's
beautiful. Yeah, I actually had one of those for my birthday or Christmas. My Secret Santa, because my family take Christmas real seriously, as in super family event. You only get one present. And only one person buys, so you get one
Sorry, I thought
really
you meant
good
you were
present.
really into
lame.
Jesus. No, oh. you mean they take Christmas very commercially seriously?
Yes.
Sorry, are they watching?
No, so
you're right.
with my wife's family, it's you buy for one person and you only buy one really good present, $80 to $120.
Oh,
You get them
nice.
something they want or something you think they want that's worth something. So, I've received $100 rock shop vouchers for myself, or I got a toolkit one year, but they filled it with tools for me. That was badass. Most recently, I had my uncle-in-law, Uncle Brendan, who's a home brewer, but he's getting quite good at it, and he's won a few awards. But he gave me about 6 of his own brews, and then he ordered some from online, and several were Belgium, some were French. But I think I had the Rodenbach, and that was in a tiny little bottle, and they had corked it in sort of champagne. You twist off the metal to get it out.
Oh, wow.
A bottle of beer.
You can get them in
Pour.
big bottles too, like a Magnum or whatever the size of Magnum is. But
It was pretty cool. I had
You
quite a
don't
few.
know, right?
big.
You
They're
don't
big.
know? Oh,
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, shame.
But yeah, we came on to beer. But
That one was for you, Ange, by the way.
You guys were abusing me about something before. What were you antagonizing me about? What did I do
That
wrong?
wasn't me. I
It
wasn't
wasn't me.
it.
I
That
think it's
wasn't
the
me.
chick
That
that
was-
you swapped in and out.
Yeah.
What was anyone?
No, I wasn't antagonising.
Play back the tape.
I was-
comments.
I was just,
Honestly, I don't even remember. But I'm sorry if I destroyed every show where you wanted to sip or eat.
Yeah, this is the first one I've actually. Oh no, I ate on one of the other ones.
So that whole ASMR thing, it was new to me. I had no idea about it. It was
yeah,
gross.
I find it disgusting.
Yeah, it's.
I really do.
Although I have found that apparently it's also the soft speaking, and I think Paea is sort of the master of that.
Not anymore.
Because
She walks out.
she's walked off the screen, but sort of Paea, when she speaks, I'm quite frightened from time to time because, yeah, she can speak quite softly, but I know she could kick my ass.
I think she
softly,
could
but
kill
punch hard.
every person in this room.
I'll give it a good go. No,
I just wish we had a switchblade to sort of defend ourselves with.
I've got a knife. Wow, someone has
Wow,
now.
he's got it now.
It's about as far as I don't think I'd really.
I'm not gonna
go.
lie, my anxiety brain just mapped out an exit in my head. I was like, that window opens to a roof and I can jump down.
Yeah, bro. Whenever I go into like a place,
Not the
I'm like,
door
"Where can I
behind you,
exit?"
the window.
No, I was just right next to you. I'd get stuck. That bloody palm
Get stuck
thing
in
would
that
take me out.
plant, yeah.
If you,
All right, Fabian,
if
that's
you
a
put
question.
the chair in front of you, then I'm gonna jump over it, so it gives you time.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
or you just, leave me for last. Leave me for last. Hey, Fabian, what is it with you and the cactuses?
What do you mean?
Like, why do you always dog the cactus? Cacti?
It began a long couple of weeks ago when someone told me that, no, it's a fact. It's proven. It's proven that if you're kind to your plants and say nice words, so if the universe allows the shape of the human tongue to scrape across teeth and utter a certain syllabic sound or a couple of plosives even, that can affect the
That's
happiness and whole order of our plants.
Makes sense. To
So
me.
I'm proving it wrong.
So you're gonna be a dick, so they die.
So I've told these cactuses that they've sucked every single day since. I've thought about it when I would go to bed at night. I go, good night, darling, I love you so much. I hate those cactuses. Cactus, die cactus. And they're still alive. So
Oh,
apparently...
yeah.
I think that'd probably be the hardest plant to kill though, because they're like they don't.
Yeah.
need
Yeah,
water
they,
or-
they literally live in the
Yeah.
shittiest places on
Maybe
earth.
you
Yeah.
should choose that one over there or something.
Tokoroa?
Or maybe just
Change the
not.
plant.
Just not. Leave the plants alone. We'll get you a plastic plant.
Again, it's absurd. I have 20... I think we have 25 houseplants inside at home. We have indoor plants galore. But the assertion that certain sounds that human beings can make, in English, mind you, because, of course, English, we won colonizing, right? So it's our words that'll affect the plants,
Oh, is
not
it
in
in
Māori.
English?
Apparently the words I say...
In English though, what if you say them in another language, it won't work?
Well, then you're
Or are you
saying,
just making that part up?
surely language is just thoughts then, isn't it? So maybe if I just think it. So I'm just going to stare at a cactus right now and just going to think really dark thoughts.
That can't be healthy for your psyche. Can it?
Sorry.
It can't be good for your mind.
It can be cathartic to take it out on a cactus as opposed to other people.
Oof.
And a cactus, mind you, can defend itself.
I was going to say, what happens when the cactus comes for you,
Defend
bro?
itself.
It's got spikes.
Yeah, but
Can't
what if
defend
you
all-
use
of all the
against
plants.
your words. Against your horrible words.
Sticks and stones can break its leaves. La la
They
la la
don't
la
have
la.
leaves.
What would you call
I think
those?
technically the spikes are leaves, aren't they?
No, spikes are spikes.
Ah, I must be wrong.
Yeah, bro. Learn your
I'm not thinking of a
cacti.
pine
Learn your
needle.
cacti, bro.
No, I'm thinking of a
Spikes
pine
are
needle.
spikes.
Pine needles.
Spikes.
Pine needles are just like skinny little leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have
Glad
I
you
have
came
I
back.
offended people? Like, is this come up? Is this being commented on? Fabian abuses cactuses.
Yeah, only by me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Just,
so
it
do
is pretty rough.
so do
Just
you
start yelling at
believe?
the cactus?
Do you believe that I am impacting the health of these plants?
No, because I think I do the exact opposite of what you do when I'm here. Yeah.
So
I do.
She's
I do.
like
I do.
counter. She's counter.
Counteracting it, man.
So here we're getting
I'm
Thomas
just
on at
louder,
some point. So if Thomas, if you're listening and you're coming on in a few weeks, can you tell me at what point of the life cycle of this plant are my words interrupting? Is it photosynthesis? Is it the absorption of water? Am I deterring it? Am I bruising it?
I think
What
it
am
might
I
be
doing?
affected spiritually?
Yeah.
You might be affecting it spiritually, mate. You can't deny. You can't prove. You can't disprove it.
You don't want to be the person.
Hallelujah.
In
I've
the
actually
Cactus
listened.
Diary.
I've actually listened to a couple of podcasts on the effects of music on plants.
I think that could be true. I think it's more the tones though.
Yeah, so
I don't
that's how I
think it
thought
has
the language
anything
thing.
to do with the word.
Yeah, no, the same
It's
with-
the tone. Yeah, the sound. Yeah.
The
Can we clarify tone?
Same
Like
with
like
fungi.
guitar tone, or are we talking tone of voice?
Isn't
Like,
like
are they like a
same
dog
sounds.
where like you go "Rrrr," and they go?
I think it's noise that I don't know. I really don't know.
So
lost.
I'm on the
so
vibe. I'm on the vibe.
screaming,
It's just like, it doesn't have to
screaming
be-
children's fine if they're not abusing it.
Well, obviously in like a positive sense, like if they're screaming happily.
Yeah, then
For
the
example,
plant's gonna
Christmas.
enjoy that.
Can a cactus hear?
You realize this is how ALTBAYS fails.
I'm dead serious.
This is the downfall of podcasting. We're talking about
Leo's
nonsense.
like, you guys take the reign. You guys have got it. We're just 20 minutes on a cactus.
So listen for this for a second, right? A cactus doesn't have ears, okay? So it can't exactly hear, but I'm sure
No,
it
but
can
it can
feel.
feel it, yeah.
It could feel
Yeah, it
vibrations.
can feel. That's
Well,
probably-
that's how your eardrums work, and I'm pretty sure, is that they feel
So maybe it's stimulating
Isn't it?
its,
feels like this.
it's stimulating its plant cells, right, through your words. And if you're using like harsh words, like you're saying them with a harsh, this is why Germans can't talk to plants, or Russians for that matter. But like, say,
You realize Ukrainians speak with quite a similar dialect. So really, are they peaceful with their plants? I mean, they grow so much of the world's food.
I was just trying to be funny.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But if it,
there goes Fabian again.
but if it, I'm just saying though, like maybe that could have an effect on them, that they could feel the harshness, just like a child could feel the harshness of your
Like a
voice.
truck driving past it could assault it
Yeah.
through vibrations.
Yeah.
Yep. Like a windy day.
I feel like it's valid to argue the other side of this point, you know.
I don't think there's a point to argue
No,
because none of it's been spoken about in terms that any of us understand, including me. I do
so if
not.
I find some scientific literature though, then you'll accept it.
Next episode. Kick the
the death of ALTBAYS.
You may as well be a Catholic. Are you a Catholic? That's right.
Born
Now it all
and
makes sense.
raised
Now it
and
all makes sense.
apostatized. I'm an apostate.
Are you an apostate now? So will
That's
they
not
will they
what
talk
I
to you at all?
heard. Sorry.
Are you discommunicated?
Not at all what the word I heard.
Are you discommunicated or whatever they
That's all
call
I've
it?
got, man.
No.
What's that? What is that?
So to be an apostate, you leave a religion.
But
You've left. Oh.
But
Oh,
you're
yes.
specifically like
That's twice now.
an apostate specifically tries to like pull people out of the religion too.
I suppose it's also that like the Catholic Church, you know, we've got 1 billion, da da da. But there's actually no easy mechanism.
That wasn't me.
What happened?
Did you just fart?
No. But there's actually no like mechanism. What the hell happened? I completely missed something.
I said that I would absolutely die if someone farted.
It wasn't me.
It was like a...
I didn't hear anything.
I heard it.
I couldn't hear
I
anything.
can
It was
smell
like
it.
a... Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
So tell us about Catholicism.
I just think there's no like
We're
easy
real
way.
interested.
It's very difficult to say you sign up as a Catholic because they baptize you. It's very hard to say, can you remove me? Can I have that number stricken? And so it's quite hard to actually say. The amount of people I know that were born and raised and no longer practicing is a huge number. Or the Easter Catholics, you know, that pop out of the middle of nowhere.
So you don't consider yourself a Catholic anymore,
No, not at all.
but you're an apostate Catholic. I like it.
A non-theist, if you will.
So do you believe in any God at all?
No.
You don't believe it exists?
The concept has yet to be
Atheist or
explained to
agnostic?
me.
The concept of God?
Technically,
So, like-
I would argue that every single person is agnostic because none of them have proof, but they believe it, and so they argue on this. They err on the side of caution.
What if you could prove that there was a God?
I don't even know what the mechanism would be, but if you could prove it in some way,
Could I try?
Give it a go.
Shit.
Got a lot of homework to do.
lay it
gonna
down.
put my
Brett, you
phone
got a lot of
down.
homework to do.
Old Bays is about to, we're coming out of the cactus.
Okay, so this is
To
just
the
something I've been
catacombs.
thinking about, right?
Go on.
So, like you've heard the expression that like the divine is in you.
Oh, yeah, many times.
Yeah. So like I'm just setting the scene. Sorry, it's hard. The microphone's over here and the camera's over here. It's sort of like I'm caught between two worlds. And so like for example, just like when your parents had you, right?
Mhm.
You're part them. Literally.
Biologically speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Socially speaking, yes. I'm signed up legally too, yeah.
Yeah. So you're part them, right? You're part your parents.
In those three ways, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So and we all are part our parents.
Not my parents.
Not your parents. Some of us might be, but not me.
Not many of
That I
us.
know of anyway.
I'm the youngest of six. There are quite a few of us.
So okay. So in that respect, okay, like what would say let's try and define God just slightly, a little bit, right? And that would be like something or someone that's created everything, or from a Christian point of view, it would be like everything, but like has created everything. So if we, for example, were living in a simulation right now, the God would be the creator of that world.
Some 13-year-old kid at home.
Yep, whatever.
Sure.
Don't know why they
I'm with you.
Don't know why they would scale in years in this world, but but yeah. So okay. So say for example, we're not in a simulation though. And we go just down the science route, right? And it's like the Big Bang started it, right? And the universe came to be out of the Big Bang, or however that started, right? It's big. And it's a bang, and that's how we started. So then everything that has come from that Big Bang, the universe is essentially like self-created. It's created itself, and we're all part of it.
Sure.
And we're its children, right? And it is the God.
I would say in the same way that a rock is then its child.
Yeah.
So for that example,
the God that created, if you even from a scientific point of view, the God that created this universe, it's like a self-creating universe through the Big Bang.
I suppose the difficulty is that the terminology creation.
And we're its children.
Implies
So we're
intent
the
or
gods.
technique or method. So creation implies method, intention, or technique. Nothing of that can be demonstrated. So why apply the word
Fair
created?
enough.
You could probably say, so the universe is here. Deal with it, and then try apply those
How do you
things
know
harder.
that it wasn't like I don't necessarily believe in God in a biblical sense or any other sense apart from the one that I've just been thinking about, which you've torn down in 5 seconds. But it's like
Sorry.
it's all right. But I'm just thinking like from that point of view of a creator. I mean, I understand the difference that there is a difference now between creation and it just happening. But I think that just saying it just happened is a little bit simplistic and naive, isn't it? Just to be like, it's just happened.
Honestly, I
You
think
don't even know where all this energy and matter came from.
I'm going to flip it right back at
It
you and
just
say,
happened.
I think all of our understandings, unless we've studied it, all of our understandings and conversations about it are naive. I've not studied it. It's just absurd to apply something that a child can realize is absurd and say, that's easy enough because it feels right. But to be able to say that we understand any part of it, if you understand how fusion and fission works at a molecular level or even smaller, like, we don't know a thing about that.
So if you had a physicist here, an astrophysicist,
Sure.
and they were like, no, shit's been created, man. Like, there's no way. I understand fusion and fission, and I understand how this Big Bang, couldn't have formed. Blah 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 blah. Then you'd be like, all right, well, the universe is our God.
No, because I wouldn't take it a opinion. I suppose, we're going down a
Because
bit
it comes from a plasterer/painter. It's like, I understand that. I wouldn't take it from me either.
I love the order, though. Plasterer/painter. You should get that on a shirt.
Meanwhile,
It's because I'm a
we
plasterer.
have a comment here, beautiful one,
and then a painter.
by Tara Roberts, and it says,
Oh,
I sing love songs to the house plants when Fabian goes out.
Nice.
Thank you,
So-
sweetie. Thank you, sweetie.
Anyway,
Why are
just
you
wanted
watching?
to put that out there. I'm just reading the comments from our friends, and there's another one saying, I think Fabian should issue a full apology to the Cactus.
I believe so too.
Oh, I thought they were going to
Go
say
for
to
it.
me.
There you go. You guys are fine.
Look, if I have to do that, see, that's condescending to the Cactus. How dare you assume that a cactus which has survived all the nonsense it survived in your life, that it couldn't withstand meaningless syllables and vibrations of my mouth?
They're not meaningless, though. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, with intent as well.
But we apply the meaning. Cactus does not apply meaning.
Plants might not have feelings because they don't have a nervous system.
That's true.
But they are indeed alive and have been described as sentient life forms that have tropic and nastic responses to stimuli. Plants can sense water, lights, and gravity. They can even defend themselves and send signals to other plants to warn that danger is here or near.
Tell that to the rainforest that's been destroyed. Isn't that sad? It's in Brazil, right? That's big time destruction, yeah?
One of them, yeah, it's
That's-
happening. Hey, because I read a comment from Tara, how are the families and the friends and the people close to you guys saying ALTBAYS, and how is that relationship with the people close to you guys? Do they even talk about it or no? Who first? Chloe.
It's pretty good. I think my older immediate family don't really know how it kind of works, but I've sent them the link, and every now and then they've been like, "Oh, I've seen that one," or blah 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 blah. They understand when I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I can't talk. I'm at the podcast." But this is my flat. Shout out to Owen, Husband Blair's. He and I tend to watch it every now and then, or have it on while we're cooking dinner, and we sort of, engage when I'm not here. But yeah, it's good. People know about it at least, yeah, in my inner circles.
Brett?
Yeah, we watch it at home and stuff, but no, we don't really. To tell the honest truth, like, it gets brought up a couple of times at work or whatever, but it's mainly by me.
Cool. That's good. Thank you. That's good. That counts.
No, but like some work sites will like know of it for sure, and then some have got no idea, But yeah, no, I don't get recognised or nothing in public.
Fabian has.
Oh, really? What, as a teacher though, or as a co-host?
I have had 2 instances.
I've been recognised by you. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if the
Now we're
opposite was
equals,
true.
so it cancels out.
It could have been the opposite though. Imagine if you didn't
We're
recognise
always
her.
equals.
Yeah, so I went out to Sangam restaurant. Shout out Atu and Jimmy. And Charlotte, one of my students. Charlotte Larson. Cool kid. Working out there. But I went out there and ordered some food. Sat at the bar waiting. And some guys sat next to me. I liked your show. What? I was trying to ignore him. I was on my phone doing a Wordle. And I said, I really liked your argument. You're a great conversation with Mark. It's a word game. I'm pretty good at it.
No shit. So
No
what's it
brag.
called? Wordle.
Yeah, I put it on hard mode. But he said, I really liked your argument you used against Mark Troop. And I went, what? And apparently, this man was on an argument on Reddit, which I found out is a blog site or something. And he was on an argument on it. I guess a typing argument. And he said, someone was a vegan person going, stop killing animals, you're a murderer, blah, blah, blah. And this person who spoke to me in the restaurant went, I'll use what Fabian said on the show. Something like, so where does your sphere of compassion end? When you take a shower, you kill millions of bacteria and they're living creatures, you murderer. And apparently I did something to that meaning, which is so pretentious and wanky.
Such a bad argument as well, isn't it?
Don't get
People
me
say
started on vegans and their flip-floppy morals, mate.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, kelp have been known as sentient life forms and it's been put in a beer.
Yeah, but
You just said they were.
yeah, the thing it gets a bit deeper though, isn't it? Because like you can argue a term, you can say that nowadays people have their titles, like that's why we brought feminism here a couple of times, maybe even more. And some people say, I think it's extreme or whatever, but like we gotta respect people bringing awareness to a cause, right? So sometimes vegans can be extreme, but like there's no life without death. So
I don't
like,
think they're extreme enough, is my point.
they're not.
No,
Oh, some of
they're
them
not.
are.
Well,
no, not extreme.
But
enough.
anyway, like my point with that argument, at least, was that like I feel like a lot of people, they are passionate about the cause because when you start the lifestyle, you see a lot of changes in your body and in your mood, and that's how I felt it at the start. So like you kind of want to tell the world about how good you're feeling, So then some people do that to an extent that is just annoying others, and then you miss the point. Because then you're doing like extreme religious people who knock at your door or whatever and try to take you to a place when you know where the church is, you can go, So that argument with like, oh, you're kidding, like if we're alive
They're
right
told
now.
they have to knock on the door, by the way. I'm just saying. They're not extreme.
Sorry. Sorry. Oops. If you like, if we are alive right now, it's because a lot of, I don't know if it's a million cells that die every second in our body. So like we are dying to be alive right now. You know, so like this is just a was it a dog? You know, so like that's my point with it. It's like, so people who say, oh, you cannot kill anything.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know. Like I think it's just a misconception. I think there's a lot of passion involved when someone says, "Oh, you cannot kill things." It's like, nah, it's different from like you don't have to kill to eat something. You know, you don't have to go and kill something to eat it. But like nature, it's often and all the time dying and getting born, you know. So like when the person says, oh, you know, but don't kill anything, nah, man, you like by walking on the ground on soil, you're killing stuff, you know. By moving,
That's why I only walk on roads.
There you go. Because then you're just killing your toes, maybe making them suffer a little bit.
What are those religious people that do that?
Wouldn't the roads have killed the stuff that was under the road?
I didn't make the road, though.
Killed stuff too.
But you're supporting it by walking on it. So.
You're supporting by
I'm
Sorry,
happy with
Paea supports
Judged by
roads
affiliation with
and
the road.
Yeah, I'm totally happy with that.
paved paradise. Put up a park.
So this is a cool, like we don't have to go into the veganism thing, but like this is a cool thing that comes often on the shows of like how are we looking at the future, you know, like because you guys have kids, you know, like, and that's all that comes to me is like it feels like sometimes we are like promoting or funding a system that is not sustainable. So that's why for me the word sustainable is way stronger than veganism or whatever. You know, like it just don't feel like it's sustainable the way that we're living. That's why I'm so looking forward to having Thomas Everett to talk about climate change and all that stuff, because things that Alistair Brickwell brought to the show, they make a lot of sense from a geologist's perspective. But like we're gonna have a scientist talking about the damage that we're causing to the next generation. You know, like in a universe timeline, I understand that the things are gonna, you know, go up and down. But like we're talking about having water and fresh air to the next generation, you know, like, so that's when I like to bring these subjects to the table, because we should be trying to make it at least a bit more sustainable.
I think it's right that from in a historical sort of sense, the pain and suffering on all animal life that's caused by humans that is unnecessary will be one of the greatest crimes of civilization. We've moved on from all kinds of crimes, racism crimes, women crimes, half the planet of humans crimes. There's all kinds of crimes, and I think that we're going to have to move on as a society and look back going, that was a terrible period of time when we didn't have to kill animals. And I think the conscious choice of cutting down, I think Tara and I my wife and I made that choice years ago. We have less meat and we have more vegetarian meals or more vegan meals, or just, you know, we've already removed milk out of our diet, so that's, you know, just one thing in itself. Just by reducing, that's our current effort, and it's essential. And it's still, we still enslave, we still slaughter, we still farm, we still put them in cages. I still buy the cheap eggs because I can't afford the big eggs yet, but then I suppose I probably could, because
Do you still buy the cheap eggs? That's disgusting.
They have free range, cage free, and all that stuff, and you still buy the cheap sheet.
Oh, I buy the ones I buy caged. It was this that was going to get me kicked off the show. So if Fitzy, I'm going to cry out.
Yeah, well,
I'm just kidding. No one's watching, so yeah, it's fine.
No, I think you're dead right though. You need to make the effort, and I mean, like, the effort might not change anything in a real term, but I think it changes something in yourself, and it changes. It can encourage more change. Like it's like one person voting for someone doesn't mean anything. It's just one vote, you know. But if you don't do that and the other people don't do it, then nothing happens, you know. So you've got to, one person's got to do it, and one other person does it, one other person does it, and then it starts to make a bit of a change, you know.
I want to ask you one thing, Christine, because I just heard it on the radio coming here. I think New Zealand will try to do something to raise competition for the supermarkets so that the price of food can drop. And I understand that, but it doesn't sound like, for me, it sounded like a problem that it's being dealt on the surface of the thing, because like on the surface of the issue, because it's just the same old thing of like, oh, we got to raise competition, but like those big companies, those providers, they're still profiting quite a lot, and then we complain about the prices, but a lot of us still say that the competition is essential, and like those businesses are doing the same, right?
Yeah, because like, essentially it's just going to be Countdown versus New World versus Pack and Save, not the provider of those foods, because they're still making the same amount, isn't it?
Pretty much. Are you guys feeling that strongly compared to a few years ago, like petrol, foods?
Food's
$22.50 for a block of cheddar.
Now we have on the table like the three.
That sucks, eh?
That was $13 a couple of years
We
ago.
have the parents on the table, so like you guys are actually, you're not just feeding yourself, like you're feeding children and family. So
Yeah, food's
let's
so
bring
expensive.
five years ago. Let's try to do something there. Like, how do you guys feel? Who goes first?
Christine, you're the oldest. You go first.
Yeah, you start.
You dick. I don't know. Like I feel like it is expensive. Like once you buy a house, and not only just mortgage payments, but rent's expensive, fuel's expensive. You feel assaulted at the gas station every time you go.
I think fuel's actually cheap to be considering the amount of work that goes
Fuel versus
into a
diesel
litre.
is like,
Water's expensive.
Yeah.
Carry on though.
but fuel versus diesel's bloody expensive, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel sorry for the diesel users that think, oh, I pay my rucks or whatever, but it works out worse now.
They're paying so much, eh?
So
I think
much.
they're paying more. Are they paying more than,
yeah,
than a
I think
petrol
they're paying
user?
more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you explain road use charges, rucks?
Oh yeah, road users.
But if you don't
charges,
mind explaining that, so when you
Oh.
have a diesel car, a car that runs
yeah,
on
you
diesel,
have to buy like 10,000 kilometres. I think that's the minimum you buy at a time. Is it right? Anyone has a diesel?
Something like that.
And it costs X amount for whatever kilometres you buy. So you're pretty much paying for the kilometres you drive, as well as the fuel you need to drive it.
So you're going for a hybrid car, is that correct?
Hybrid, yeah.
Hybrid car.
Yes, so we're getting a hybrid. I think some point in the next 2-3 days, we're going to pick it up.
Does it run on petrol and diesel?
I see what you did there. No, it runs on the abuse I give the plants I shove in it. I just sit there
That's
driving
right,
and I honk the horn and I abuse it, and it just creates fuel, and then it's death.
You make the wheels of
it combusts so much. To be plug-in hybrid. Although Alistair Brickle told me not to plug it inside the garage because I'll burn the house down.
Yeah,
And
I watched that.
he'll point to that video. Cool. And we'll point to 10 million other cars that combust in other ways. But yeah, he's right. There was a terrifying video, and I completely agree with him. So we're going to have a hybrid. It's can be electric for up to 55 kilometres in the perfect road conditions. So back and forth to school a few times. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
It's a
I
car.
wouldn't worry about it.
I don't care about cars. If you care, it's a Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross plug-in hybrid. It'll be Mocha,
You lost the respect I had.
Pooh Brown. Mocha. There you go. And if you care, it's a 2.4 litre. And it's got two battery engines, one in the front, one in the back for the four-wheel drive.
Oh, it's four-wheel drive.
I've read the pamphlet, so I'm an expert in the pamphlet. Don't ask me any more details because I am done.
I also read that New Zealand is thinking about implementing driving lessons for students, for high school students. What do you guys think about that?
It's an essential part of life. They should be teaching it already. I think some schools already do it with different outreach programs. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's great. I wasn't aware of that. That's a good idea, because especially now that they're pushing it out, you got to be 16 now to get your license instead of 15, and so by the time I was 16, I could drive, and now they're making it a year later. Well, be good to get all the help they can get, because it's a year less experience they can have behind the wheel before they're out, in the real world trying to get a job or whatever.
I've never thought of that perspective. That's fascinating. You're right. A year less at home with family teaching them. Jeez.
Because my son, for example, he's 17 and he is having to drive around illegally to get to work. But if I was his age, I would already have my license. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they push it out to 16, it's harder now to try and get your license legally before you're at work. If you're at work as a young person, instead of going to school till you're like 18 or whatever, like other people do. Does if that makes sense?
It really does, yeah.
What was the question again?
In Brazil, you gotta be 18. Gotta be 18 to start the journey.
Oh, really?
18. Yeah.
So
in
what about-
America, 21, right?
When do you start
think
work?
so.
Yeah.
You can start working before that, but driving.
16.
I was going to say, American
What?
driving's younger.
16 you can work.
You can work when you're 16 years old legally.
So how do you get to
but
work for the first 2 years?
buses?
What if there's a bus that doesn't
Subway.
go to where you work?
Don't get a job.
I'm
Don't
sure
apply.
that
You
everyone
idiot.
doesn't work in the
It's a
city.
different country, bro.
Yeah.
There's not
You just
space
drive.
for
Just-
car anyway.
Just drive anyway.
Say it again, Taylor.
There's not a space for a car there anyway.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah.
Can you drive like a moped or something? Like, do you need a license for that over there?
You do need a license, yeah. But for us, it was always very, very common to just use public transportation, like pretty much all the time. You get a car to get stuck in traffic for 2 hours and a half. Like, you just go, stop.
Because there's like a painter. My son's a painter, and he needs to go from Hamilton to a house in, from Fairfield to Tamahere, like, and he's in the middle of nowhere. Like, where's
I'm
he?
from Tamahere.
That's why I said that.
Oh,
Like, how's he supposed to get there without a vehicle?
Yeah.
So I think
I think there's a
my
bus
point is
once
it's
a day.
Good that they're pushing that through the school so they can get a little bit more experience.
again, I think getting your license, being able to cook and manage your own, finances are just essential, because when you leave school, if you want to be able to get anywhere, you probably need a license. It's also a valid form of ID that you need. But being able to cook and clean for yourself, talking about food price going up and being unhealthy, the obesity rate is skyrockets all the time. Diabetes is skyrocketing. People don't know how to get themselves places, don't know how to manage their own money and food. You guys remember uni food, or like 17 to 20-year-old food?
No.
It was bad. It was 2-minute noodles. It was fish finger, like 8 stacks of fish fingers in a sandwich with mustard and sauce.
Mine was
Oh.
Burger King. I didn't go to uni though.
Oh, but that age group, Burger King.
Yeah.
What was your order?
Barbecue bacon double cheeseburger, large, Fanta.
Nice. Fanta, that's disgusting. Do you regret that?
Nah.
Oh,
Not the least.
No, I think raspberries worse than Fanta. Just
I didn't mind, so Leo, you had like the fill your own drinks at Burger King, where you could fill up most of your Coke.
Yep.
And then you could just add a splash of raspberry at the end. Your little raspberry Coke.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So
that was the dream.
So this is another thing. Paea, if it's not great, maybe just leave 1 year
This one here is
off.
boogie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just leave one of your 1 year like this. It might be better. Yeah. That was a surprising thing for me, coming to New Zealand and seeing that people could go and serve themselves on those machines.
Bro, I used to go handy on those. I'll just drink it real fast and then go back.
Go get.
Yeah.
Go with 6 mates, get one
Yeah,
cup.
yeah. I'd like go and get my cup and fill it up on everything, like so
There you go.
you'd have everything in it. It tasted really bad, but
got to do it.
it's free. So
Gotta do it. Probably in Brazil, people would bring the 2-liter bottles just to fill up. And
I'm
leave.
surprised people haven't done that.
You're not supposed to. There's a sign.
Yeah.
Like they say, 1 refill per cup now, I think.
Well,
Do
you
they even let you do it anymore?
Some
I
places
don't
do.
know,
Some
do
places
they?
do, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with COVID, they'll be like,
Yeah,
No.
like I feel like that's stopped.
Well,
But I suppose you never touch the inside of a cup. Like, don't you press the cup up against, like,
I think that's the idea, but how many people would be like,
maybe.
Yeah, that's sticky.
imbeciles. We could run it up, but we've talked about running ALTBAYS shows for like educational purposes, teaching people how to use a Bluetooth speaker. We could teach people how to use an automatic like fizzy drink dispenser.
We could.
That'd be great,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes,
how to
yes,
use like a vending machine.
There you go. What would you guys like to see as new shows? Not the pool with soaps and people go. Not the one we're gonna
your
talk about.
weird
that.
idea.
Not a weird idea. In Brazil, it was a hit. It was a success. Fantastic show. Very successful. But anyway, for you guys, what would you like to see on a platform, on an online platform? What kind of shows?
Christine?
Oh, do you want me to go?
Absolutely, I love your voice.
I think it will be cool to see, like, on location, like us go somewhere. Not necessarily just. I mean, the studio's nice. You guys did a really good job, but it'll be cool to go out and be out in.
But you mean the
Yeah.
same with the same format, or a different idea of like people to interview, or maybe not even having interviews? Or you mean exactly this, but in different places? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I like what we do. Like, I don't like the whole idea of interviewing, like, you know, having questions ready and all that sort of stuff. So maybe like this, but yeah, like out. Like, who was it that suggested we go on a boat and do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be cool.
that was a good
I'd do
idea.
that.
yeah, that's just out. Just go out.
Okay, Fabian.
I'm keen to go to Brazil
Oh.
with ALTBAYS. Give it like the 3-year plan. Take 4 of us over there, running interviews, running blogs on Reddit or anything. You know, writing blogs, travel stories, getting out there, meeting people from your life and family, getting background, and then doing cool stuff. You know, I've never jumped out of a plane because I've never wanted to, and it sounds terrifying, and I have nightmares about it sometimes. But if it was for the show, and
wouldn't do it
it was
still?
my career, I could gladly support Paea jumping out of a plane.
Oh yeah, you can
And-
get a tattoo.
Get it. Oh yeah, the ALTBAYS
Get an
tattoo.
ALTBAYS
Yeah, I'd
tattoo.
rather get a tattoo. I think
That
I'd rather
is
Yeah.
get a
a horrible idea.
Well,
No, I
not for
reckon
everybody in this group.
I'd do it.
Yeah, I'd do
You
it.
guys are beautiful without
Oh.
tattoos. You don't need to adorn yourselves.
Already got, man. We already
Yeah.
got tattoos.
And you don't
man.
like tattoos?
I'm off the show.
Or are you scared
Oh
of the
no!
tattoos?
Stay. What's up? What's wrong with tattoos, Fabian?
Are you scared of the tattoo?
Be honest.
or
It's
you
your
just
opinion. We're not.
dislike it.
Is it an opinion show? Is it? The amount of people I've seen who've removed tattoos has been many. And I understand that people have cultural significance. That's absolutely it's a part of token tattoos, or let's go on this holiday tattoos, or things that are so insignificant. You know, if it's not children, it's not a practice in your family that means something. I just, you know, people who get anchors and mum.
So not just because they like it.
Yeah, and like
Mum. You mean mum's name or just mum?
mom, American spelling.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like,
that's bad tattoo.
and then, and you get, I knew someone that like had stick figures drawn in a particular shape, and that's fine, sure, but like you were a nice person before it, you're
And
still a
maybe
nice
in-
person after it, but now you've got this thing that, you know, what's 60-year-old you going to think? Oh yeah, when I was 4, I had fun with a napkin and I thought that would be cool. Taylor, that's twice tonight. You're on fire.
Did you have people in your family like demonizing tattoos or saying that they were
No,
not
no,
cool?
I've got family with tattoos. My brother's got Neil Young on his chest. And it's a sweet
we're
picture,
coming
you
out
know.
of
Famous
Stick
brother,
figures.
if you're watching this, send us a picture.
He's not watching this. I haven't told any of my family. None of my extended family know about this. Not a single member of my family outside of my wife know about this.
Are you ashamed of the show?
There's a difference between not like ashamed and not proud. There's like there's a barrier there.
He's honest, eh, Brett?
I'm
That's good,
sorry.
that's
I'm sorry.
That's good. No, you're
I'm
honest.
such a pessimist on the
That's
show.
exactly why we invited you. What about you, Paea? Tattoos?
Yeah, I kind of want to get one soon.
We'll just get you while you eat a peanut. Just
Yeah, I
straight
know.
away.
Sorry. Oops,
No.
oops, my bad.
I want to get one soon. Like I've wanted one for a while, but I just don't really know.
You've
what
got
to get.
one though, eh?
No, I
Have you
don't.
got none?
No, I don't have.
Oh
any.
wow.
But like because it's so permanent, obviously, I just want to make sure it's like the right one. But I want to get like a tamoko on my arm. Or,
Yeah.
So it makes my arms look massive. No, nah, I don't know. But I want one soon. I feel like I'm ready. Do you have any tattoos?
Yeah, and I'm probably the complete opposite to Fabian. I'm just like, fuck it, we're on holiday, chuck them on.
Yeah, I think that's what's so cool about it. Like I like when people are like spontaneous about it. And it probably
Yeah, I've
makes
got
it
one
better.
just because it was like one of our really good friends' hen's party and everyone got one.
Yeah,
Pretty much all got matching ones. It's like,
why not?
I pretty much decided in the studio and she's like, get that one there. And I was like, cool, go.
Those are probably the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Not that
think it's
have any, but
I think it's like art or like a certain type of looking couch in your house. Like you can't really be like, oh, that's hideous when you walk into someone's house. That's
Yeah,
like their
yeah.
choice. They
Yeah.
live with it. They pay
Yeah.
for it. Like, and I don't see the difference between whether it's like I said, a couch in your house or a picture or a stick man on your leg.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it makes them any less.
so just don't invite Fabian over.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I'm all for tattoos.
yeah.
And I think everyone, like, for people like me who just get them, everyone's got one that they regret hard out. or they wish they
Not
had
yet.
waited, or
Not
I
yet.
don't have any regret. I feel like all of mine are they're pretty alright.
I think there's a connection with life as well, with like your regrets in life, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I regretted what I did. I regretted this, that," and some other people will say, "Well, that was not great, but I learned from that."
No,
You know,
when
so
I'm
like you-
80 and my moko see like a Harry Potter tattoo on my arm, I'm gonna tell them like,
yeah.
"Fuck yeah, that was cool."
Yeah, so like your approach to
yeah,
Harry Potter.
whoa,
So
Yeah.
the approach to how you're gonna
Yeah.
see that, because you know that it's gonna be there forever, and if you're
Yeah.
already thinking that it might become something that you might regret, it's likely that it will. But if you just accept, well, you know, I don't know, in the future I might change my mind. Still, it was relevant at that time. It was
Yeah.
important when I got it, and it means something. I can look at this and look back. But then some people get to that tricky moments. Like I remember seeing a guy with a mention. It was in Italian. He clearly knew what it was, but like he kind of said something about white supremacy or
Yeah.
something. And then he said, he was like, well, it was a time that I had those ideas and I don't have them anymore, you know, but it marked a time in my life. And then in that moment I was thinking, I'm like, wow, now it kind of gets on a very fine line, because for him it means I can look in the mirror and remember that it was bad. But for a lot of people that might not have this thing with coming and having a chat,
Yeah.
might start a fight very quickly, right?
Yeah, it can still be seen as like obviously super offensive.
Yeah.
But then there's always the choice, you know, to get it removed. Like, I mean, I don't know why it's such a big deal. If people can put enough pressure and thought into considering getting one, they can do the same thing about removing it. I mean, you still pay money. It's still a process. It's still your body. I've got a couple, like already, I got them like maybe a year or two ago, and I already think they're pretty fucking stupid. But when I got them, like I straight away thought of like an altar story.
Yeah.
So like depending on who you are, and when you notice the tattoo, I've got one or either story to tell you about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's stories behind them.
Yeah, but one of them is like PG and kind of funny and stupid, and the other one's pretty out there. But I thought of that before I got it, just so I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, if you have to show the parents the tattoo, it's kind of like, oh, ha ha ha, it's silly. But then it's, everyone else, it's a bit like, oh well, it's on your body forever.
It's your
Yeah.
body. I agree.
To a body. Yes. So now we have Leo and all the girls here. So do you feel like when Taylor and I we were thinking about the guests, and right at the start of the show we were like, well, we need 2 guys, 2 girls, we'll see how that's gonna go. We might bring more or less, or we'll see. But like we had this thing with every time that there's a woman as a guest, we should have a woman as a co-host. We kind of started with that thought because it feels like when 2 guys are together, they take over the conversation. As the show went on, we kind of dropped that idea because you guys are all very polite and very nice, and we can always find a balance.
Yeah.
However, let's talk about society and like living life outside of ALTBAYS. Do you feel like this happen often? That men kind of like sometimes gets more into the conversation and takes over and don't listen to him, or this is just something that is...
I don't
doesn't
even
apply
think
to-
it's a male thing. I think it's the type of person they are. There's some things that I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I just think if my mum was here and I said something stupid, she'd smack me. So I'm just like, or rude or anything. So I'm like, not with it. Yeah. So I don't think it's a female or male thing. I think if someone wants to go, you let them go and sit there quietly and don't react.
Yeah, it's on them, you know.
Yeah.
If someone's willing to like speak up and talk, I don't know, flamboyantly or boastfully, you know, or just boldly, sorry the word was, and it's just like, oh well, it's like on them, you know, it carries on.
Yeah.
You know, if you hate cactuses and plants and
Yeah.
stuff, you know, it's on you. Like it's all good. If you're vegan, it's on you.
Yeah.
I think men respond. I think men respond better to men sometimes, though. Like just teaching and just being around like the martial arts especially, I feel like men respond better to men showing them like techniques, because like sometimes, I don't know, it's probably just because they're kids, but like when I talk to kids or when I teach kids stuff, so there's like another coach that coaches with me, and there's a couple other male coaches, I feel like they tend to respond better to males just because they're like more dominant and they're like strong and they're big, so like that obviously works for them. But like if I show them things, it's like, oh, she's small, she's a girl, and like
You think that's just because of the type of sport?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's just the type of,
because
like,
it's like sort of physical, when you got to get that like
you want to be big and you want to be strong and you want to like listen to the person that's obviously
The biggest and
biggest
strongest
and the
looking.
strongest. So
Yeah.
it makes sense for that to happen.
Well, there was a survival thing in the past, and then you could always go back to that and claim that and say, oh, but man got the physical elements, you know, of like protecting me. But like it feels like we should be evolving out of that concept, right? We should be letting
that men are stronger or
behind.
Well, they can be because of their genetics and like testosterone and stuff like that, but I think it's more that women haven't actually had the opportunity to be strong, or they haven't been in those positions. I feel like men probably feel like the same way as well, like they haven't had the opportunity to be like soft and vulnerable and stuff like that. So there is like a flip side to it, but I just
There's definitely like a difference, but I think it's when you start making it as an excuse. Like, oh, I can't lift that because I'm a female.
I hate that.
I hate that too. Like, I used to work at a furniture shop and I was lifting couches at 8 months pregnant. So I'm like, I can do it. You can do it too. Like, obviously I've been doing it longer, so I do have the strength to do it, but
but if you want that position to be strong, or that opportunity to be strong, you actually have to be strong the whole way through. You can't just be like, oh, I don't want to lift it now, so I'm just going to get some big male to do it for me. Like, you have to set that like example for yourself and for other people. Otherwise, you're
always going to look there as weak.
Could it be because maybe also from a very early age we tell the kids that idea of like, oh, you know, one day you have a partner to protect you, or for the boy you would say, one day you have a beautiful girlfriend,
she'll cook for you.
She'll cook for you. Like it's so those things sometimes we don't click that we're following a trend that is not working for years, and would that be a thing? Or no, you don't think it goes that deep?
I think it is a thing.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But then as a parent, you try and like sort of not like, so I'm very hard on my kids, so they know how to do everything from washing to cooking and mowing the lawns and doing jobs. And I do feel like it's a little bit unfair sometimes because they do so much, but I'm like, you guys know why I'm doing this, hey? So you can look after yourself. You don't have to rely on anyone. So, like, my daughter will know how to do the lawns. My son will know how to cook. Like,
equality.
Yeah.
Equality. What do you think, Louie?
So I think it the
because you're very
cliche
dependent from a very early age. You got that, right?
Yeah. So I think that those like those, I don't want to call them typical, but those like stereotypical gender roles. I mean, I think hopefully progressively coming like less prominent, but coming from a household where I was sort of taught to do, or what, like, you know, you got to be able to like, if you can't cook for yourself, well, then you're not going to eat kind of vibe. No, we're not like that hardcore, but like pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
And then same thing, like would do the lawns, help my pop and my dad with the wood and that stuff. But I also grew up like such a tomboy as well, so those roles weren't ever so much pushed on me, like the feminine sort of typical roles. But it's kind of a common thing. People call me, they laugh at me. They're like, you'd be the worst housewife ever. And I was like, because they're going to have maids. But like, you know, I was like, and what? Like, why is it an expectation? I don't really believe in it. But I mean, I think they're just all somewhat survival skills. I think it's important to teach equally into all genders.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you can't cook, then you're not going to eat. I mean, you obviously not that extreme, but I mean, if you don't know how to do laundry, you know, you're not going to have clean clothes.
Your food tastes shit.
Yeah, and it's like, I think they're just skills that everyone should be taught. But I think that it is something that is around when people are young, and I think people aren't really aware of, like parents, for example, aren't aware of it. Teachers, just people around everyone just somewhat not so aware about what kind of messages get,
Yeah,
instilled
because I
in
think
kids.
even like at schools, and not bagging on the teachers or anything, but say when there's an item that needs to be brought into the class that's heavy, they'll go, "Oh, you two boys, go get it." They're doing it there, and no one realizes.
I was talking to Chloe the other day about gender and how the schools are getting more prepared to talk about that, and the way that we're learning, we're navigating on how to accept, on how to name people, like understand that people feel like sometimes they want a different denotation for them, and we're all kind of like making sense of this. Some people with open mind, some people pretending they have an open mind but actually not taking it in and being quite like just damaging themselves at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And then I asked her, I said, who should be talking about these things in a show like ours, and do you want to tell me your answer, or should we just ask openly?
Ask them first so I can remember the conversation.
because I mentioned like, well, the people who understand the mind, and they understand traumas, and they understand how we deal with our lives, they're always helpful with those things. But then Chloe said something like, well, why not bringing the people who are going through
Cool. Phew. I was like,
moments,
what did I
those
say?
Those doubts. No, because sometimes, especially for teenagers, they don't know. And nowadays, there's more space and freedom to open up and say, I don't feel like I am what you're calling me.
Yeah.
Maybe years ago, it was damaging for a lot of adults that are adults nowadays because they could not. They suffer a lot, who knows. So what do you think? Who do you think would be good for this kind of conversations?
Like things on like, I suppose, how diverse gender can be considered now, and like sexuality and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know, yeah.
Just the
What you
people
had-
themselves.
Yeah, the people themselves.
It's the best
Anyone-
people to
yeah.
explain it.
Because we mentioned the therapist, Brett, when we had a long conversation about that the other day, and Brett was telling about like how someone who is prepared to understand the mind will be very open and spot on these things. So
I think but you can say that for most things though. Like if someone doesn't have an open mind enough to try and understand, or two, understand. Like, I mean, if you're not neither of those people, then it sort of just defeats
not
the
you.
purpose of the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, you're not
like
the one.
if they're not willing to try and understand or learn something new, which is quite common. Like if they're just only worried about being right and believing in their beliefs, then it's like
Then you're not the right person
to
to talk
sort
about
of,
it with. Yeah. I
It
think,
shouldn't have to be an argument.
Your brain might fall out.
Pardon?
If you open your mind too much, your brain might fall out.
For all those listeners who can't hear Fabian just apologised to the Cactus. He's really apologetic.
thanks,
and
Fabian.
yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Fabian.
Yeah.
It's looking happier now behind us. That's
I'm pretty sure it
cool.
just winked at me, but
That's cool. Are you good at it? Are you good at accepting that maybe you are not right on the topic, or or you just keep it for yourself
No,
and then
I'm awful.
okay.
take that one
Yeah.
home.
So it is.
Yeah.
I make a big effort to apologise to my children if I'm wrong. Always.
That's awesome.
Always.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think
so
that's
I
important.
think if you can apologise to your kids, then everyone else is like, free game. You can why not be wrong?
I think like a lot of parents don't do that, and I think that's what like messes with a lot of kids, because
Yeah.
like it's like double standards. Like if you can do it but they can't, then they're like, oh well, then what's right and what's wrong?
Yeah.
There was just on that specific subject. I remember it must have been not too long ago actually, where I like had a point where it was sort of learning to forgive my parents, because
Yeah.
I mean they're just people trying to make decisions, let alone for themselves, but like for a young little thing that's doing all these random things, like who are they to know right and wrong when no one knows?
Yeah.
To some extent, obviously, like don't kill anyone, but like, like, but yeah, learning to forgive. But like learning how to be wrong and sit comfortably with that is something I think that I'm progressively learning. Like I might not be so outspoken about it. Like I might not just be able to be like, yeah, I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
not,
but
I'm
like,
not about that.
but like learning to process it, I think before like being able to openly speak about it, I think is a step But
Yeah.
what about yourself, Leo?
What about you?
I'm practicing. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Living here in Whitianga helped a lot with that, because I think I became a more peaceful person. And I'm learning, especially with this show is helping a lot. I'm learning to accept different opinions.
Yeah.
For me, it's upsetting when I see that some opinions damage a lot of people. Like that some people believe in some things that are actually not being like, it's not towards development or like progressive for the people. Like we're not making people feel better or live better. You just believe in something that is maybe good for your group.
Yeah.
So I try to have this, how do you say, universal, like, openness of like, if everybody's okay, or most people, then it might be a good idea, like if you're targeting a group, it doesn't feel right. So I'm working on it. And working with children, obviously, you learn a lot because they're straight up, man. They're honest, they throw at your face, and then you're like, okay, cool.
What's the most abrupt comment you've gotten from a child that you sort of took you back? You're like, you weren't really sure if you're offended or you think it's funny, or
I would have to think a little bit, but like something that happens sometimes is like they pick up on your vibe straight away, just like the plants. So sometimes I'm excited about teaching something or doing something, and then they start to deviate from it slightly. And then if I try to bring it back and I suddenly talk a little bit louder, or if I become a bit more like assertive on what I'm saying, like they instantly respond. Usually it's just a reaction to it. So like those things, those moments really teach you that like, maybe you crossed the line, or you don't have to go there.
Yeah.
You don't have to try to follow your plan just because the book says, or because people are expecting you to do that. Because if the receiver is not getting it, what's the point? Like, what's the point? Oh, but I have to say this. No, you don't. Yeah. It's going through one ear and leaving through the other one. So like this is something that I'm trying to pay more attention with. Like sometimes I suddenly I talk louder because I want my point to come across, and like, ooh, that was not good. Look at the reaction of that person.
Yeah.
So this is something that I'm trying to work on. But what Chloe said about the parents and understanding that they sometimes not made mistakes, but like they raised us on different ways, and you have a family now. So do you look back on how your parents raised you, and then do you have that feeling of like, well, different times they did their best, or you always accepted and understood that they were doing?
There's definitely some things like I thought as soon as I had kids, I thought I don't want to do that for them, or I don't want to, I don't know, do the same thing, or certain things. But then other aspects, like, because obviously when we're raising kids, I have to take into account my husband's opinion and his upbringing and everything. There's some things I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're doing it like my mum and dad let us. So like, say for like siblings fighting, my mum and dad just let us do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just let us get it all
hash
out.
it out. Yeah.
And then we talk every single day. Like there's 4 of us. We talk every day, all day, video chat. Someone's calling someone. Like everyone's talked to everyone at least once a day.
Is that your own whānau, or like your immediate? Oh,
me and my sisters. Yeah, so we talk. Oh, and we have a family group chat. We talk every day. Everyone talks every day, and I feel like being able to hash things out like that. There's no grudges being held. There's no. There's no like, I'm gonna avoid them. I'm not gonna talk to them.
I think that's healthy.
I feel like that's one thing that we were allowed to do. Like, my mum's like, I'm not taking sides. You guys figure it out.
Oh, fair enough from a parent's standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think it helps enforce communication, because obviously as you progressively get older, you start to realise like there's no point just like screaming my opinion or what a decision, like it's not going to get through. You're still going to be arguing, so you might as well come to level terms and figure it out.
When we fought though, like it wasn't like we didn't talk, we just like bang, bang, bang.
Man.
So that's why my parents just like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like me and my sister. As we progressively got older, like the scraps were like
Yeah,
more
man, it
intense.
got-
It was pretty bad.
Did your parents ever hand you the weapon and be like, just go there, just do it?
I mean, no comment. Nah, kidding. Nah, never. We were just like, our fists were our weapons. We were absolute beasts, man.
Yeah.
It was like not just two little kids pushing and
No.
rolling around. It was
Yeah.
like, oh no. So I think that's when we got a bit of mediation. But I mean, I think communication in our family, my family, is like something that's still progressing. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think a few fists when we were younger, we're probably better off then than now.
Yeah. What about you, Fabian?
I was crybaby Fabian for many, many
Because
years.
you're the youngest, weren't
I was
you?
the youngest of
Oh.
six.
Because the plants were mean there.
There was a point that we redid mum's house and got rid of 30-year-old shitty carpet, and I went to her bedroom and it was clearly me, but the words "Die Sam Die" had been scratched into the wallpaper. And
That's intense,
my older
man.
brother Sam was an absolute asshole. 18
this-
months older than me. He was a
Yeah.
prick. Like, I'm the youngest of six. Bullied. But everyone's like, wow, Sam's a real dick to you. But he eventually became a groomsman at a wedding, so we seemed to work it out. I broke his nose. He'd broken his nose at school. I would have been like 8 or something. And then I re-broke his nose, hitting him in the face with a tennis racket.
Nice.
And that was a big step in our relationship.
Oh,
Is that when you
fall
like,
back?
you like stood your ground kind of thing?
It's
or-
kind of when you got left alone, eh? You're like, oh shit. They
You're like,
can,
Yeah.
they can throw hands.
Plus, I think he got old
It's like they
enough.
respect you a little bit more
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Just because like they're like, oh, they can fuck me up, so I should probably like let that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, for years, there's still the banter you get. I actually cut him with a knife on the wrist only a couple of years ago. But
Bro, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's like,
let's go with context
You're
here.
bringing that up
Because I think context is important in any
yeah,
conversation.
that's very triggering.
So I was cutting up something for dinner. He was drying the dishes with a tea towel.
And then you just
So I stabbed him.
Yeah.
So I stabbed him.
just for fun.
But he, he's the older brother, so he sort of twirled around the tea towel. For those of you listening, I'm
right.
twirling
The
my
whip,
wrist
yeah.
in a clockwise motion, and he was whipping me. And I said, like, stop, like you got to stop, like I'm
Stop,
holding a
I'm gonna
knife.
stab you.
I'm holding a knife, and he's like, no, he kept going. And so at one point he got me, and I went, ow, and I defended myself, but like I reflexively went to stop and cut him on the arm. And I think that's entirely his fault. I was with a knife. I told him not to, and he attacked me. I was in pain, and my body went. Obviously, I'm not going to stab someone if I'm not in pain, or if someone jumps at you with an object, I will defend myself with whatever's in my hand, be it a biro or a Furby or a knife.
But then I think maybe the blade might have been a bigger cost. You should learn knife
I would
safety.
think the raw chicken that seeped into his veins was the bigger concern.
Oh, did he
Jeez.
get like salmonella?
No, he's alive.
Yeah, but
But I mean, you can't catch it and get.
yeah, you can still
I don't know.
live
Did he
after
get infected?
salmonella.
Did he get sick?
Yeah.
I'll ask him. I don't. We don't really contact.
Was
Not
it
after
Like
stabbing
since
him.
the stabbing, or
Since stabbing, after stabbing, just stop talking to you.
fair enough.
You know what?
Look, he
I'm not
could
coming
honestly,
back.
honestly
Let him
he
out.
could be dead. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It's fine with me.
I'm sure he's not. I hope
Oh,
not.
they got to be. That's deep. Is anyone
anyone
else stabbed?
seen him?
No.
You seen him, or is he like in your garden buried, or what?
No,
Oh,
no.
please. Is that why your
plants are so
I wouldn't
healthy?
put it in my own garden. I'm not foolish enough to put them in my own garden.
Your plants are telling
Neighbour's
you.
garden.
Honestly, it'd be somewhere else completely obscure. Middle of Auckland, probably.
Have you guys thought about that? Like how to get rid of a dead body?
Please tell
Like
us
the best
how.
way?
That's
Like,
mine.
well, there's always like a
There's
like a
always
bit of a
those
yarn.
shows and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Like the best way to get rid of it, like if
Everyone
you had a
watches
dead
it,
body,
yeah.
like just for whatever reason in your yard, like
In my yard?
and you had to get rid of it, how would you do it on your own?
How
you had to
long
get
do I
rid of
have?
it.
As a big, strong, burly bloke that doesn't have the feminine weakness of the body,
And
I'd
stabs
probably
and
drag.
Bro, I can probably lift more.
Oh, sorry.
One night snap.
Challenge accepted.
Run it straight, bro. Run it straight,
Let's bench.
Fabian.
Let's bench.
Wanna go? Nah.
Sorry, I was simply riffing on your previous conversation. How would you get rid of a body? I suppose there are many ways you could
Would you
dissolve.
call?
You
Do you have
could
someone
burn.
you'd call that you'd be
Oh,
like?
it's not no deal or no
Ooh.
deal. You got no,
Who
you got no
would you call?
50-50. You've got no
no,
call
do
a
you have someone
friend.
you call that you'd be like, come help me do this?
Oh, I mean, like how
Dissolving
would you
it
do
would
it?
be good, like
Yeah,
putting
but
it like
how?
in a-
Because you got to think about getting the chemicals. I'm straight up
Yeah.
old school. Chuck it to the pigs.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because there's pigs down, like.
Yeah,
down.
they eat
Yeah,
everything,
they
don't
eat
they?
everything.
Just
Yeah,
go
that
down
makes
309
sense.
and chuck it down. Yeah, hard actually.
Chuck it
Actually-
to the
Or
pigs.
don't, just in case. Like, don't take it to Stu's Pigs on the 309, but like maybe.
But there's pigs down there if anyone.
Yo, my dad used to say he had like some kuni pigs. I don't know why they're different than normal pigs. But they're called kuni pigs. And I used to like sit on the top of the fence
And
and,
they're great.
like
You
throw stuff
throwing?
at them.
Yeah.
And then my dad was like, he'd always like shake the fence and be like, if you ever fell in there and you guys would need that to get to them, the pigs would get to you first before I did. And I'd be like, oh, okay, so I'm not sitting on the fence anymore.
Yeah.
But then like, yeah, they're like huge and like felt aggressive. I was like 8, but they were like big ass pigs.
They are
man.
pretty big. Eh?
So you're stronger
And
than a
they
bloke, but not stronger than a kuni.
I don't know, that's Paea.
Oh, sorry.
I'm weak as
I've
chips.
never versed a pig before, but I'll give it a go.
It'd be rather boring.
Well,
Oh,
we'll see if I have
wow.
a knife. No, I'm kidding.
Did you? I don't think they called that one.
Nah, it's just some pig jokes.
Yep, thanks.
It'd be rather boring.
Yeah.
He did it.
Where's the soundbite?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. It must
I
have been the
missed
wrong
it.
ear.
Wow, that was just
It was a bit
that was
slow.
a long hit and
Yeah.
miss. Yeah, need another hit now. So
Yeah, I think, okay, pigs. That's a good idea.
I just
Yeah,
seem to
how
be the
not a
brunt
good
of all your
idea.
jokes, so I'm scared to say shit because
So-
every one of you has picked at me at least
Oh,
8 times,
sorry.
especially when I'm off camera, so I can't even defend myself.
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, I
Now it's all
definitely
this
planned
kind
that.
loveliness.
you're
I
in
definitely
the-
planned that.
You're in
I
the
don't do it on
seat. Do you
purpose.
have anything you want to? No, it's all on your terms.
Yeah, say to the cactus, cacti.
Not a fan of cactuses,
Okay.
especially these ones. Thank you, Taylor. You are amazing. I suppose for me, it was brought up before. I think Christine, you talked about it, how it is amazing, and to Paea even. It's nice talking to nice people. It's nice that we were able to see people in the street, even old men that will wink at me and point and go, "Oh, boys," in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
It's kind of nice, but it's nice
Ask
to be
for
able
their
to
number.
talk to the people. Like
Yeah.
I got to talk to like Joanna Mannington, someone I worked with as a colleague for so many years, but I never got to hear, staff room chat banter is 5 minutes, interrupted with lots of things. But this was 2 hours. We got to talk about what she believes in, what she likes, things she stands for. It was cool, finding out things that are in common.
Yeah.
And I would never talk to Alistair Brickle in the community because I have no idea who he was. Now I've spoken to him. It's sort of brought us together in a way. If I see him, I'll say hello. He may not remember me, and that's fine. But I'll remember him.
yeah, it just did lib
Always.
on that. The show. I think having known Leo for like so long, and well, feels like so long, and like Taylor as well. It was just not only is it like a cool opportunity, but like it was just having my friends doing something so cool they're so passionate about. Of course I wanted to be all about it and all for it and do anything I could to help. And it's been like, I mean, I've only been on a handful of shows, but even this one's pretty cool. Like getting to know, I obviously know Paea. I've met Brett once when I was like, I'm your biggest fan, ALTBAYS, and he's like, oh, who are you? And I was like, I'm drunk. And he's like, yeah. But and then like, and then somewhat meeting Fabian a handful of times every now and then, and being able to have some banter, not bullying.
There's nothing
but some
authentic you ever
banter,
get with me.
you know. Oh, I think you're alive, but I think it's really cool. It's I've also had some cool chats. I mean, some heavy ones like I mentioned earlier, my first one, but the opportunity to sit down and chat with Sandra Gowdy and stuff like that. I think it's ALTBAYS have brought some pretty cool
support
opportunities.
Leo and Taylor with what they're doing. You don't think it's a terrible mistake in their life, personally?
I mean, I can support them even if they're going down, which I don't think we are.
Okay, cool.
I feel like that's the biggest bit of the pressure is that you're hoping you do well for them too.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
Because this is their baby, and we were lucky enough to be invited. And that's one, I don't know, that's one thing I always think, like, the pressure is, like, always, get people talk about and ask you about ALTBAYS and how'd you get there. Like, you always try and have a wholesome conversation about it because you're a byproduct of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wouldn't want to do them wrong. Right? Yeah. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, like you just want to make them proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're adults. Like, we're not their... This is not their baby. They're adults. They're making these decisions. If they've made bad decisions, be it on their heads. No?
So I think for our 100th episode we might be a man down, and we might have a couple more cacti in the studio.
Yeah, another prick.
Place him in the cactus.
Yeah, who's on the soundbite? Missed
You
it
missed that
again.
one.
Ah man,
I'm trying to
I
make
got your back
puns.
there. Yeah, had your back there. What would be one of your like best parts about being a part of the ALTBAYS crew, Tobia?
The food, bro. I'm just here for the food. Any food, bro. Just come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just enjoy meeting all the new people, and like it is really cool that Taylor and Leo have done this. Like, there's obviously nothing else like this in town, which is cool. They're like bringing new things to town, and like these chairs are comfy as. This table's pretty sick. So yeah.
And the food.
Yeah, and the food. I
Really?
like the food. So that makes me happy.
Although it's not salt and vinegar, it's really salted again. It's so
I
disappointing.
actually haven't had any chips yet, just because I don't want
You
to
don't do
like
crunchy
create any like noise.
Atmosphere.
Yeah,
Should we
maybe
just do it
later
all
on.
at once?
Yeah, we'll just all eat it at once. I've been checking
An
them
A-
out, but I'm gonna hold back.
An ASMR break,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
30
yeah.
seconds of
30
everyone
seconds.
crunching.
If anyone wants to listen to that, Fabian's
See,
gonna leave.
see, I find it amazing
Fabian,
watching
take the
Paea
lead.
here because see, Paea, I've seen you with headphones on, but you years ago when you were a student at the school, I'd be teaching a middle years class, and you'd be, hey, mister, can I use the room? Like, yeah, go through to the studio.
This is who he's gonna
And
roast
then-
me.
Yeah, I'm like,
And there'd be the student,
Is he saving it?
and sometimes you'd be in there from like 7 a.m. till I don't know midnight. You just always seem to be in the room. And
oh, bro, you were committed.
So
committed.
I would go
You heard
into
it
a
here
room,
fir- you heard it here
and all
first.
the lights are off, and I go to a room like Jesus, and you're just sitting there in the corner recording music by yourself, and it's just
It's a
it was
vibe,
cool.
bro. I like it.
It was a vibe.
Yeah.
Leo mentioned plant killing with vibes, but yeah. So seeing you here, because what's that, 4 or 5 years ago now, that you'd be sitting in that room 4 years ago? Is it that long?
2 years ago.
2 or 3, jeez.
I'm 19, so 2
I was
years.
going to say, don't disclose your
Oh.
age.
Yeah.
Fabian takes the mickey out of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's because she's so little.
Me and my
But it's
little
sweet.
muscles.
Your little biceps and triceps. Aw, little deltoids, little pec pataya.
All right, so now is the wrestling match.
Actually,
Yeah, I reckon that's the
Arm
next
wrestling,
episode.
bro?
Yeah, go.
No,
I reckon we should do a pop-up episode
No,
of just
probably
That'd be
maybe
great,
everyone
because
running it
if I
straight.
lose, it'd be great.
Give
If
me
I
like
win,
a week, and then
well,
I'll
they'd have
come
to
back.
cut it out of the live show.
Rip that.
Some goons.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Some
go to
goons.
the gym.
I Deb's being the ref.
Let's do
I'm
this.
pretty good on a whistle.
All right,
I
challenge
reckon.
set, arm
Yeah,
wrestle.
Couple weeks.
Arm wrestle. I'm going to stretch.
Yeah.
Because I'm a man, I'll stretch once, probably tonight, and then I'll be fine. Because apparently I'm the dominant gender, and I'm historically going to be punished for it tonight.
Well, not because you were the run to the pack, so
I was
probably
the right,
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not. But give it a go, bro.
Brett Meister, I think you're in, buddy.
Oh, was that Brett? Brett wants to run it straight too.
Oh.
No.
No, not ever selling. You're a tradie.
Yeah, Brett, you
You
go first.
literally
You
use
warm
your
them up.
arms.
You warm them up, and then I'll go in.
We actually had an arm wrestle thing at my stag
You
do.
can tear him down.
Yeah, that'll just hurt. Please don't. I'm gentle
But that
soul.
doesn't show how strong you are. That just shows like how much strength you have. in
Technique's a
this
huge
little
thing.
technique's a
arm.
massive
Fuck
thing,
shoulder.
yeah.
Plus the shorter the arm, the more advantage you have. So you might beat me.
Plus, closer to your body, all the angles.
Oh,
You got to play it
serious?
all
So
right.
if you have like a shorter forearm,
Yeah.
then it's
Leverage.
easier for them or for me.
No, it's easier for the person with a shorter arm.
Oh, okay, I'm probably got a shorter arm than you,
What about
I would destroy you
thumb
tonight.
wars?
but not by much.
What about thumb wars? I'm no good with my wrist. I've got like
Pinnacle wars.
RSI,
I'm
but
not,
like
yeah. I
Pinnacle,
used to suck at
I'm
that.
the
I'm not
bomb.
playing
I
that.
swear I will win against everyone. I've never lost.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. So
Pinnacle
I'm
wasn't
not even
the
gonna
best.
go
Probably
I
think you
would.
know
It's
I
less
that.
would,
aggressive,
but
by the way. It
I'm
can
a little bit
be.
injured, but I'm totally curious.
You got a little bit injured, right?
You've never.
Is that where the cactus bit you?
Sorry.
No.
I'm just joining in on the vibe of wrestling here.
Yeah, thank you. This brings me on to an
Sorry,
interesting
bro.
topic that apparently has been happening in the commentary thread about cricket, and you wanted to talk about cricket because it's your favourite sport to talk about, Brett.
It's my least favourite, yes.
Your least favourite
Correct.
sport. So those commenting in the chat about the test match coming up next week, cricket's a game with a ball and
Right,
a bat.
like most sports.
Yeah, oh, well, maybe darts, that's fine. Apparently sewing could be a sport.
No, that's not a sport.
Nah,
I'm not joining on that.
I actually can't do that.
That's what I think about cricket.
But I think the Black Caps are going to smash England. I think they're going to take a while to reform. So those that actually care anything about cricket, it's going to be a great series that I can't watch because it'll be live in England and we'll all be asleep.
Why
Yeah,
can't
but
you
you
watch
can
it?
get
Just
up
wake
if you're
and watch it.
really that committed.
I woke up this
Get
morning
up.
to watch the IPL. But
Not get up for the
the
other
test
one.
match lasts 5 days. I can't be up from
Yeah, no, that's
11
fair
till
enough.
sort of 5. 11
That's
till
why it's
6.
the worst sport, eh?
5
Because
days,
it's just.
bro.
Yeah. But didn't they
Stupid.
didn't they shorten it? Wasn't that
Oh,
like the OG
I wanna
test?
do
Like was
mixed
like
martial
5 days. I
arts.
thought they shortened it to like.
To 20 minutes.
I don't know.
That would be a main game of cricket.
I need
yeah.
a minute and 30 seconds. Then I need a rest. Yeah, this is a 5-day
Bro, fucking
match.
try it out and then you'll realize
5 days in the
that you need a
field.
rest.
I think they end
I
up
miss
running
that.
like the average test match. Stuart Broad is an English person. Spoke to Stephen Fry, who's another English person.
Love Stephen Fry.
But they have a podcast, and they talk about,
The
I think...
Atheist.
Yes.
Just
Writer.
making sure we're talking about something.
The guy who reads the Harry Potter audiobooks.
Just hoping YouTube picks up on like keywords. Atheist.
Trump.
What is it? Prostate.
Prostate?
I mean,
Prostate.
what's the
It's a
person's
serious
name
issue.
when you leave?
Prostitute.
Apostate.
Apostate. Yeah, not prostate, not
Prostate.
prostitute.
Prostates are a common thing in the.
I mean,
OH.
What were we
Apostate.
talking about?
Not cricket.
Cricket, yes. So I think that, they run like 12 miles a day.
It's not
No,
that
I'm not
fast.
While
shitting on
fielding?
cricket
The
players. I'm
prostitute.
pretty sure it's really hard.
5 days of cricket. It's a serious test.
What do you mean? Like, isn't a marathon like 40 miles, 40 kilometres?
A day.
I think it's like,
While concentrating, while diving, leaping, hand-eye
Those people do
coordination.
that.
but they're also just hanging out.
Those people do their super marathons where they just run like one every day for like a year. There's
Yeah.
people who run like 100 kilometres. What do they call them? Super marathons?
Ultra.
Like the
ultra
Iron Man.
marathons.
Oh, what
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
Iron Man the whole time.
Yeah.
12k
Something
a day.
iron.
I walk 12k
Why isn't it
a day
Iron
and I'm
Woman?
not exhausted.
How
No,
dare you
maybe
say
a little
Iron
bit.
Man?
Well, it's like policeman,
person.
policeman.
Iron Homo sapien.
Okay.
You know, it's a Homo sapien.
Okay. But like cricket, you got a bunch of them. There's only like one bowler, one bat or two batters when they do the swappy thing, right? And then the rest of them are just like hang out and wait for a ball. It's like short, like what is it? Short bursts of energy. Like if the ball goes running,
Where you go?
running, but the ball gets hit and it goes towards like the left side. Like the people on the right aren't going to be like, oh, let me try run double that time. Like, oh, be moving the whole time
You're
for
actually
5
wrong.
days.
You're actually wrong.
I 100%.
If
I've
the ball
watched
goes
cricket
to the left,
before,
on
man.
the right hand side, you've got to be there to back up the ball.
Yeah, but
Take
you're
a run
not.
out, take
You're
a
not.
chance, and you're sprinting. Like
Yeah,
if you
for short
bowl,
amounts
if you
of
bowl
time.
10 overs in a day, that's a really small amount. You might bowl 30 overs a day. That's a
I don't
huge
think
amount.
everyone's like running on their toes the whole
That's
time for 5
that's
days.
180 sprints you do, full effort sprints in a day while standing out and fielding. Or if you're batting, everyone bats, and usually about 6 people bowl in the team. Plus one person's wicket keeper who takes the bulk of the deliveries, usually
Right.
millions of broken fingers.
Speaking of bowling, do you guys think Whitianga should get a bowling alley?
That'd be really cool.
Are
Honestly.
you guys for it?
I would like a bowl. I
Yeah.
love bowling.
Yeah, bowling.
I
Imagine
think
having
that'd be
kombucha
cool.
on tap
You guys
at a
suck.
bowling alley.
Picture on tap.
Yeah,
Was
man.
it going to pull me in? I doubt it.
What do you think, Fabian? Do you think we need a bowling alley?
Who's funding this?
Hopefully ALTBAYS
You
one
are.
day.
Oh.
Oh, Fabian.
Fabian will. And then he'll put the cricket on for 5 days.
Buy his album on Spotify. What's it called, Fabian? Your album or your music you released that one time?
You'd like me to advertise my music?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it would be a plug. It's gonna fund the.
If you go to Spotify and search Fabian Roberts, and then you ignore playlists and go to artists, and you ignore the Spanish-looking people, you'll see an album that is a painting drawn by Shangpo Yu, which I gave him the album and he illustrated it. And it's 2 people embracing, sort of hands held together. It's really beautiful. And Apple actually rejected the image because it was too sexual. In that it was the back of a person that obviously people embracing each other. No bums, no
Like that.
boobs. If we were hugging and holding hands at the same time,
Oh.
it was a picture of the back of the person. And they said, no, you need to get rid of the shoulder, and it's too sexual that you might be seeing a bit of the hip. And so Apple, I literally had to shave out millimeters of a human back to meet the standards with Apple. And it's a cartoon. It's a painting. It's Monet style. It's impressionistic.
Have
It's
they
like
got launched
watery
album
waves.
cover
How
on
is
there?
that so? Because they
That's
have
just like
like
a bum.
cover
So-
photos
bum on
of
a
like
beach.
asses.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like Kanye West, his track, the orange one, I forgot what it's called. But there's like a big ass booty on it. So like,
So if
why
you'd like to
can't you-
search Kanye West, it's Kanye space WEST.
Like, people can
And
find that
just don't
anywhere.
bother
Yeah.
looking me up because it's fine.
The difference is, though, is that Kanye West is probably a billionaire.
Yeah, but why can't you have your
Billion's a
back?
big number.
He
Billion
is.
is 1,000 million.
He thinks he's a billionaire. Let's put it that way.
But there's a lot of things
definitely
where
a
it
It is
comes.
a lot, but it is a big number.
There's a
you're
lot of
right.
things where it comes down to, like, say, for example, on TikTok, it's called community guidelines. On YouTube, it's called whatever when you get your videos get pulled and where people, unless someone like specifically reports it for whatever reason, like the whole guideline thing when it comes to the online world tends to be like run not by people. So it could be just like a algorithm that's looking for a certain amount like of certain things. So if it scans the picture and it sees a shoulder takes up so many pixels, like that's probably what might flag it.
Yeah,
know?
It was a stupid absurd. I tried challenging it, and then the people emailed back going, "No, they're stubborn. You just got to shave off the millimeters." So I did. Yeah, and it's fine. You can still get the idea of love. The album was called Maybe. Maybe. Thank you for those that are laughing and going.
I never laughed. Someone else laughed, and then I think it was Paea.
Maybe.
Anyway, there is one song that is not me singing, and that's sung by a guy who was called Ben Maynard. It's now Ben Sun. Changed his name when he got married.
To Benson.
Ben Sun.
Ah.
Double N, I think.
Benson.
But so he sings one of the songs. I can't remember which one, but it was kind of cool coaching another person to sing my own song.
Is that
Why did he change his last name?
He and his wife.
Because we don't
wanted to make
believe
their own
in
name.
stereotypical gender roles.
So he and his wife wanted their own name, and so they came up with one when they got married, and they went and legally got it. Then both
so
their
then
names.
Can you
Why
just
didn't
make
I
it? Can
think
you
of
make
that?
one up?
I was stuck
Yes.
with my own dumb name that everyone pronounces wrong.
So.
Yeah, what is it?
I know it says what it is.
Doesn't matter now. He's made his own one up.
Bretta.
There's nothing
Pardon?
better than that.
I genuinely don't know it.
I'm going to
Soanes.
change my last name now to like Schwarzenegger.
Frank Schwarzenegger.
Listen to me.
That's pretty amazing. That's cool that you bought your own album though. Like, what sort of genre is it? Let me guess.
Alternate no.
No, because it
I reckon it's hard rock, but
it's-
like done over a classical computer. I mean,
A classical computer. Yeah.
I mean, piano.
Yeah,
Yeah, forgive me.
1730 computer.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it is classical of some sort, but
I think you're wrong.
no. I
You reckon
think
it's
I'm right.
country?
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
he's
I reckon
giving me
it's
country
like-
vibes. Nah, he's
I
giving me
mean,
like
put a
that-
cowboy hat on,
that
Fabian.
hard gangster
Call
rap
this a plug.
vibes.
No
He
one's
was
going to look at the
beatboxing
album
the other
because it
day.
just sounds awful. This is great.
I reckon we're
No,
selling
what-
it. We
what-
need
what-
funding
what
for
genre is
our
it?
bowling alley.
The genre would probably come under alternative rock, progressive rock, not in
really?
the style of
Tool.
Tool, but more in the style of say Muse or
I love Muse.
Supertramp
Oh,
or
really?
Pink Floyd,
Oh, cool.
or Queen. Where it's expansive pop, where there's alternate sections and lots of backing vocals and key
Yeah, no?
changes throughout. Very difficult to play. So I play bass
Mars
on.
Volta.
I play. Wow.
Not that difficult.
I do some high vocals, but probably not as frequent as the Mars Volta. That's a cool. I haven't thought about it in years.
Neither have I. I don't know why they popped into
Yeah,
my mind.
that's great. That'd be really cool to do it at karaoke, except it'd
And
be
almost
awful.
impossible for someone else to play, for that matter. Like it's
Oh.
just it's all over the
Rhythmically,
show.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's more just I play piano, I play bass on most of them. I sing all the tracks except for the one. Friend Ben Kitty, shout out Ben. I haven't told him on the podcast, but if he ever looks, he won't. Anyway, so Ben's on there. Anthony McMaster, who's got a great name as a engineer, McMaster. So he's either Anthony McMaster, Mixmaster, or McMasterer, because he tried doing a bit of both. Mixing and mastering, very different things. Very expensive
Wouldn't know.
to do mastering. Yeah, they're poppy, the musy queenie. You get the general vibe. Some of them are really sad, some are happy. One of them I wrote about something I know nothing about: domestic violence, drugs, and alcohol abuse. And then when I wrote that song and recorded it, my brothers were like, "Never write about something you don't know again." It was the most tokenistic, shitty song you ever wrote. And I went, "Oh, cool. Great feedback."
What's the language like? Are you swearing?
No, I don't think I
love
use
how you
any
had to think
expletives.
about it. You're
Yeah.
No, it's basically a Will Smith rap album, but yes.
Yes, I am basically a Will, except I would not have the balls to go punch another person on stage.
No.
Well, he didn't
pin
punch
slap.
him, he
Sorry,
slapped him,
Open
so there's a
hand,
difference.
gentle slap, humiliate tiny man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit rough. But
It was one of the most technical slaps I've ever seen.
It was like, dude, bang.
Yeah,
It
and
looked
then-
fake.
And the hyperextension of the arm, like afterwards, like it was like, wow, like he'd finished, like it was like a slap out of a big movie. you
Yeah,
know?
it did. It looked like that. It was like, bang. It looked like it was. I thought it was fake when I first watched it.
I just wish that they had dragged him out of there. It would have been so great to humble someone that needs to be humbled. Not that he's ever going to
I
watch
don't-
this and ever be. There's going to be no Will Smith defenders that are going to watch ALTBAYS and be like, he was fine, he's macho, because, again, no one's watching.
I think he's a battered husband, to be honest.
Battered by his wife? His bald wife.
She is bald,
Battered.
but that is his wife, and I think she's horrible.
So, like G.I. Jane style, you think she's strong
Have you heard
we've
that
had
saying now? And it's like, believe all women except Amber Heard and Jada Pinkett.
I've only heard
Pretty
that
much
now.
like everywhere.
Amber
No,
Heard's the Johnny Depp trial, isn't
Yeah.
she? I liked her
So
in
we
one of the
believe all
movies she
women
was in.
apart from those two horrible, horrible creatures.
I can name a few others.
Oh, yeah?
Not live.
Oh.
Especially if they're in the same room, it gets really awkward, and the temperature
yeah.
drops, but you still sweat like a fever.
Yeah.
What a great chat. Wow.
Is it a great chat?
I'm loving this. Show number 50, very special. We have Anna Horn on Wednesday from the Green Party and Greenpeace. Bit of an opposite from the mayor, which is what we're trying to bring. Different people from different perspectives, different conversations. And then on Friday,
Was she running for mayor?
no, but she will come to explain how the politics work in New Zealand. She's going to break everything down for us from zero. And then we obviously going to talk about her choice of parties.
Would
That'll
she
be
be
cool.
offended by the shitty cactus comments about your shitty cactuses?
I don't
that are
think
dumb?
so. She's mature, man. She's all good with different opinions, I would say.
Cool.
And then on Friday we have Stefan Lindner, who is a therapist, counselor, and he considers himself a soul activist. He likes to use that expression. He runs the Embassy of Friendship in town, and he works with man groups, which is pretty cool. So there will be a good chat. We're on a cool journey from show 50 onwards. So for the people watching it at home, subscribe to our channel. Let us know who you want to see here, talking to these beautiful co-hosts with so many different opinions. I love it. It's cool. Christine, Chloe, just jump on this side here so we can finish together. Yeah. Just come closer here so we can wave and say goodbye.
I want to get some convicted criminals in.
Yeah, so I'm already working on like gang members and people from different
Oh, I was changing my mind now,
backgrounds.
actually.
Yeah, we'll do that. now
Maybe
you
just watch those
You want me to
shows.
jump on this side?
now you will be the chosen one to talk to them. Now that you
Nah,
said,
I'm not a
oh,
big
sorry.
fan of gangs.
we're all coming together.
We're all getting on this side.
Have an open mind, Brett. You never know.
Sorry.
Cool.
Gangs,
So
is,
for
gangs are just a religion for criminals. That's
How does
all
my
right.
hair look? How does
we'll
my
find
hair
out.
look?
So for the people watching this at home, subscribe to our YouTube channel, have a snack, have a drink. Make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. to watch these lunatics talking to fantastic people from this community and from all over New Zealand. It's been amazing. We had Jesus Christ. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like our videos. Talk to your friends about this. If you like it, if you don't like it, talk to them anyway. Thank you so much, Fabian, Brett, Paea, Christine,
You're
Chloe,
very welcome.
Fabian.
Hope the cactuses all die.
The
by the
cactus
next
are all
show.
good.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Taylor. Thanks, Hector.
Yeah, Taylor. Woo!
I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Peace out.
Bye.